Hey, hey. Hey,
Hello,
Chisme.
hello. Hi.
Aló. Hola, ¿qué
Hi, Lynn.
pasa?
Nada más. Nada mucho here.
Hey, Lana. Hey, Lynn.
Hi, Lana. Hi, Lynn. Jennifer. How's everyone doing?
Hey, Jennifer. I love Chisme's accent. My little Mexicana lowrider.
¿Qué hubole? You mean I
I
have
mean,
an accent? Just kidding.
uh, you have a garden spider accent.
Ooh.
Um, I mean, can we believe that we still do not have a suspect in custody with the Idaho quadruple murders? What is going on?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean,
They're
crazy,
having
right?
difficulty. They're having difficulty with the DNA. I heard
Hey, Kimmer.
obtaining the DNA from different. I guess it's the blood. The DNA is all mixed up.
Well, what we're going to do tonight is there's actually like three updates out. Basically, simple little updates. Hey, Lanky. And then there's a lot of interesting stuff that's going down in Reddit. I was like, what the hell?
Okay.
But I love Lanky Tour. She's one of the first people I met when I realized that YouTube had lives and people talking. I went into Gray Hughes because I was following the Kanika Jenkins case, and that's when I met Lanky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hi, Lanky.
You know what, Jennifer? Maybe at the end of this, I was not going to get into that story. I do look at it a little bit behind the scenes, but like Chisme and everybody will tell you, like, I have a very busy, busy life.
Yeah,
And
there's
the
some things I heard. Go ahead about
yeah,
Shanquella.
we'll jump on to Twitter. Jennifer would like to hear your I think Chisme's actually been following that story.
Yeah, I
Have
haven't heard the last 2 days, but I know a YouTuber, and he's really going into it and getting receipts, and he knows how some money was transferred. A lot of things.
okay, so maybe we can show his last video maybe. That's the
Hmm.
one case that I'm so stuck on this case because I just can't believe they do not have anyone in custody. And
Yeah, that's
I don't understand. But I'll tell you what though, there's a couple of new updates. They're starting to say they think that Kaylee Goncalves was the one that was targeted. But it still doesn't make any sense to me. So why go and kill the couple? I've got a couple theories actually.
yeah. I have some theories, and I was watching the layout. The guy that drew the layout of the
Mm-hmm.
home. And he showed exactly where the blood was coming from. They must have been cornered.
But we honestly do. I mean, where? How would that blood honestly leak out of the wall like that? And it's right above an old rusty pipe. Like it does look like blood though.
Yeah.
So this is Ted Williams. He used to be a Washington D.C. detective, and I thought his
Meet Suvi,
insight.
time-saving countertop kitchen robot. Suvi's cool.
I thought his insight on this was pretty decent. Don't be mean, Fox.
Got a great deal of physical evidence that they're working through. And so they're trying to process some of that evidence. The scene over I was
Hey,
showing
Samara.
here, this is still a active crime scene.
Hey,
Or
Lynn,
if you notice,
Lilac,
some
Cat
of the
Eyes.
vehicles are still parked here. The scene is somewhat frozen in time. What
Mm.
law enforcement is doing is that they're taking their time. They're doing a deep scrub of that house. The medical examiner has been here present, and the medical examiner has made it known that there was a great deal of blood in that house. And they're trying to process that blood. They're trying to determine if they can find any kind of a DNA match with the blood. So that's some of the things that are going on. But the forensics, this investigation is going to be guided primarily by the forensics that's found in that home. I think it's
I also found something very interesting. Wait, if you guys have not heard this yet, wait until you hear who he compares the case to. And we discussed this a couple nights ago. I was like, Ted Williams, are you watching my shows? I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
law
You're
enforcement
teaching him.
predicated and based upon what they've been able to observe in this place. They know whether there's one or more person that may have that committed these crimes, that murdered these individuals. You know, there is a great deal of speculations out here. There's some information that's been put out about a peeping Tom. There's been some information that's been put out about a dog being skinned. All of those things are things that law enforcement, I think, dismiss. This is more personal. This was someone, maybe more than one person, but this person took a knife and he was able to stab 4 people. So it's highly unlikely that I think that they're looking toward a peeping Tom, or they're looking at someone who maybe skinned a dog. I think they've
Be
somewhat
right back,
checked
Chisme.
both of those things out, and I think that they've dismissed both of them, meaning law enforcement. It may take a little while because the FBI has brought its mobile lab down, and they're utilizing that. But when you talk about toxicology reports, and those are significant and important in an investigation, those may very well take longer to process. But they are processing each and every bit of information that comes to their attention. Uh, I think the frustration in law enforcement is that the community, they know the community is hurting. They know the community wants someone captured yesterday. But law enforcement have to take their time methodically and go over everything in order not only to effectuate and make an arrest, but also to prosecute the person who committed these crimes. And so therein lies where they're trying to preserve as much evidence as they can as they process this crime scene in the back of us. It's way, way too early to even think about this being a cold case. But of course, the longer this case go on, the more it is suspect and questionable as to how they'll catch the
It better
perpetrator.
not turn into a cold
We can go
case.
back to 1966,
Here we go.
where a killer by the name of Richard Speck killed 8 nurses in a home.
Do you remember, Chisme? We just spoke about this guy. We played a
Yeah, I heard
little
about that.
mini documentary on the man that went in with the 8 nurses and the one nurse that rolled under the bed and survived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in
Ooh,
Chicago. And the only way they caught him is that he had gone to a hospital and they had looked and saw a tattoo on his arm, and that was reported by the doctor, and they were able to catch him. Hopefully, if they've not caught this person sooner, there's always a possibility that the person will make some mistakes and law enforcement will be able to move in. But I have a feeling that with all of the physical evidence that was left at this crime scene, from what we've been told, that law enforcement will be able to make an arrest and make an arrest soon. Why would someone want to snuff out the life of 4 promising students who had everything to live for? I mean, I've gone on and just most recently saw a video of these students vibrantly alive. When you hear a father talk about how his daughter has made the dean's list on numerous occasions, those are are citizens. These are people who are about something, who were model citizens in our country, and now they are no longer here. And you think about the season we're in, Thanksgiving, that a lot of families are going to be sitting down with their families. There are 4 families who are grieving and will not be able to sit down or see the loved ones that they've loved forever.
I mean, this is mind blowing. Hey, Lilac. I mean, let me show you this post that I found on Twitter that I found kind of. I've never heard this before, but this guy or girl, whoever wrote this, let's see how many of you guys agree with this. My amateur profiling, male, white, 18 to 22 years old, virgin, not visually pleasing, scruffy, has or wants to join the military. School teachers will remember him as being odd, strange, an attention seeker with an average IQ. Now, I have you ever heard a profiler come out with the person being a virgin? The only thing I'm getting out of that was because there was no essay, and I still can't get past that. Those girls
So
were
that's a
beautiful. What?
professional. It's a professional profiler, or she said amateur.
No, that was somebody just putting their thoughts out on Twitter.
Yeah, virgin. I don't know.
Oh, Lynn, there's probably so much footage in that area,
Yeah.
but I don't think. I mean, wouldn't you need a little more testosterone to do something like that as a virgin? Like, I'm only making a joke about that,
Well,
but
she could have been built up,
hey, Gen B, a virgin because there was no essay.
but they could use the blood or just the thought of the penetration of the knife. You know, it being similar to the person as a penetration of something else.
I agree, Samara. I agree they were older. And there's so much stuff like we do not know about. I mean, come on, Michael Vaughn, Stacy was arrested in April, and we did not find out about that until November. So there's a lot of things that they hold back, which is to keep the case safe. This is what I was kind of like. And even if one person was targeted, in my opinion, then why did you have to kill? Then why were the other 3 killed and 2 left? Like, it's just crazy.
They might have
I'm
not
starting.
known about the bedrooms downstairs.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about because. And another thing, too, we have to remember is that the 4 that were killed, from what I am understanding from his mother, is that they were very close. They grew up together. They all went to the same schools growing up together. They ended up going to the same colleges together. But the 2 that were spared, they were not part of that group. So I'm thinking that there was two groups in the house. The 2 were close and the 4 were close.
Yeah.
And then as well, based on the evidence.
Oh shit! Hang on, sorry guys.
That there was any forced entry into the residence. There were survivors of this, and then as well, based on the evidence internally at the scene, that has led detectives to believe and continue to believe that this was a targeted event.
1 second, guys. Let me tell you who this is real quick. This is the Idaho police. Why they believe the Moscow murders were a targeted event.
I think the second part of that question is that
I'm going to start over.
It didn't appear that there was any forced entry into the residence, survivors of this, and then as well, based on the evidence internally at the scene, that has led detectives to believe and continue to believe that this was a targeted event. I think the second part of that question is that it was also stated that there's no threat to the community. And so I can address that as well. I believe when that statement was made, the chief was community know that it wasn't believed that there was an active, person running around campus, running around the community, attacking people and killing people with a knife. So I think that was the intent then. This probably wasn't clearly altered to let the community, have an update of what was really going on. And so I think that caused some confusion and some fear, and rightly so, of that information that, they kind of fill in the blanks. So the chief, and this is a 30 person department, so essentially 30 people were working that crime scene, including the chief and all command staff. And so when that happens, the media and the public communication side of it, slips a little bit by the wayside. And so recognizing that there were, things that needed to be addressed, additional investigators, additional testing scene, public communication, they asked for resources. And so now we have a public information team. We're working to make sure that the information that we put out is accurate, it's thorough, and then as well as vetted. And so the information we put out, we want it to be correct for the community so they have an understanding of what's going on. The family members, what they say is that's up to them. The information that we try to release is to the best of our ability vetted and accurate and correct, and as well to protect the integrity of the investigation. So, that's totally understandable that he would want to make comments, and that's up to him. That's fine.
Lynn, are you talking about the girl and the guy with the beanie on? This one right here? These two? Why does these two right here? I don't know why this picture in picture does this. Oh, stop. Chisme, why does Fox News hate me?
They love you. They love you, but they don't
But
want you
is
to
this
copy their stuff.
okay, Lynn? So not this one with the neighbors.
I
Hey,
saw a
elderly
picture of someone with
cats.
a dog that I didn't notice their hands.
Yeah, we'll get Lynn has the email, but let's go ahead and get. I want to play a couple more, and then I want to get into the Reddit. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I would be scared if I was there. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, they're itemizing it, so they're going ahead and putting the Idaho 4 ahead of everything else, like they did with the Eliza case. White woman syndrome, guys.
Yeah, I made a video about something like that, and I had a Karen on there, arguing with me about that.
With what?
Well, I made a TikTok video about about a lot of the white women that have gone missing and found
Mm-hmm.
dead or found whatever. And then I put the black girls, and none of them are known at all. So she's like, well, why are you putting these? It's like pouring salt on the wounds. These women, the parents have gone through enough. The white women. And I said, Well, these women are in the media every single day. We're talking about Shanann Watts. We're talking about, Petito, all them, which I pray for their families. But, they're known. And the black women, I can't, we can't name one that has been missing. Maybe Kanika,
Oh
but
no. We've got Chanel in South Carolina, and we've got the lady in Atlanta, Georgia that walked into the apartment complex and she never came out.
yeah, but how well known are they? Do you know their names?
Yeah, I
So
did
anyway,
videos on
that
her.
was my point. That was my point. But some people don't want to believe it.
Okay, let me grab the email real fast that Lynn sent. 1 second.
Yeah, Lynn said that the blood outside could have been the the murderers, the killers. Because what if he did lean on there, or you never know, he could have had a lot on his clothing, and it transferred on over, and it was so much that it dripped, or he tried to hold on to something because there's a steep incline there where the blood was found.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. See, Kaz usually checks the email. Oh, I see that Cat Eye sent something on this Shanquella case. Okay, Lynn, I'm looking. Kaz has this. Oh, there it is. I found it, Lynn. Kaz has everything so organized in the Gmail. I don't want to mess anything up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And me, I don't have anything. I get an F.
Yeah, that was the video. It's only got the two of them in there. The one from Matt, Lynn, this one, I think that's the one I just had up. Hey, Ashley. Hey, B. Let me go ahead and play this one while Lynn answers me. This is the email that I found latest, though. Oh, it's so low. Okay. Yeah, we played this the other night. Hey, Patty.
for me, my concern is I just don't let her walk here by herself unless it's during the daytime, and I'll go pick her up now because I don't like her walking by herself.
No, I went to bed early that night, and then I woke up to a bunch of normal, and then a couple hours later, we got a message, and there was a bunch of police here, and that was the end of normalcy for the past week or so here. Though the day that the police were called here, about an hour or two after that, an officer came by and just went door to door along here, just asking if anybody had seen or heard anything. That's the only contact I've had with officers so far.
And then I had left for work like around 11:45, and I never saw or heard anything. The night before, I was up to like 2 and never heard anything at all, anything out of the ordinary. Like it's just been crazy just how quiet it's been.
Yeah.
Because we're used to having like some sort of music, hearing music when
They
we
always
come
had
home from
little
work.
gatherings, so they always had music going. So for us, we never assumed anything different because they're so used to. Yeah, they always say it's a party house. Not necessarily. They had like small gatherings, maybe like 10 people or so, and it never really got crazy other than like the usual college student stuff. But they were actually pretty respectful, considering.
The house, occasionally there were parties that were kind of loud. Most of the time it was pretty self-contained. But yeah, as I would take my dog in and out to go to the bathroom, I would just be walking by, I would look up, and I would see people in the windows almost every night, probably 4 or 5 nights a week. So there were a lot of people that went into and out of that house pretty frequently. So yeah, it was kind of a party house, but again, this whole neighborhood is sort of like a party neighborhood because it's just off campus, so you sort of don't have to follow the university rules. I hope whoever did it gets found because 4 people is not something that you just walk away from and act all normal. So whether or not the cops think there's a danger, I disagree. I think there is a danger because 4 people shows that person's dangerous.
Why you peeping Tomming, you weirdo? All right. Whoa. Yeah, we watched that the other night. That video.
Yeah, he's wearing a weird kind of gloves or a wrist brace or something. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. And also how the one said that the cops never came back to talk to them. I mean, did the cops not come back? Do they think they might know a person of interest? I mean, or are they watching you? I saw, Lynn, I saw with my own eyeballs. But let me go back real quick to this this one right here with before we go into bless you.
Thank you. Oh, I've never seen that. I've seen a different type of shirt, but not that type.
Just strange. But I'm trying to figure out why this article is saying, we watched this already, but was Kylie Goncalves the killer's main target? Police respond. So we watched a man talk. So it's saying exclusive police initially called the shocking stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho. Nope, you go away. Go away. Okay. Isolated, targeted attack. But they've kept most details under wraps as they continue to seek out their suspect. Kaylee, Madison, Xana, Ethan were found deceased at the house. Police have kept quiet for the integrity of the case. So when the chief said that the slayings were targeted and investigators still believe that now it didn't appear that there was any forced entry into the residence, well, because probably one of the sliding glass doors were open. There were survivors of this, and then as well, based on the evidence internally at the scene, that has led detectives to believe and continue to believe that this was a targeted event. He declined to discuss what evidence was found. In a televised interview, Gonçalves' father, Steve, told CNN that he had been informed that there was only one target among the 4 victims. Separately, he told Fox News last week that the attacker had been sloppy and left behind an abundance of evidence. Let's go rewatch that video real quick before we get into Reddit.
I wonder what they're waiting for if there was an abundance of evidence.
So, well, here's what's going on, and I'm not a crime scene investigator. I wish I was. If I was 18 again, I would. What the hell was that? Did you fall down, Chisme?
My phone, Phil.
Oh, okay. I want to pause this for a second. Okay. But so the article just kind of states that they feel like she was the one that was targeted. So now let's listen to her father. But nowhere in that article do they say that they feel like she was targeted. Right? Like, I don't know. Oh,
Yeah, it's confusing.
How many of you guys in the chat feel like it? Hey, Sandra. How many of you guys in the chat feel like this was that this was like somebody that might have seen them but didn't know them, and this was just like a Danny Rollins or one of those type deals? Or do you feel that the person knew them, as in a friendship, went to school with them, like knew them? I'm starting to think that it's like a stranger situation. Targeted?
Maybe number 2, yeah.
I love how we all have different opinions.
Oh, I think either 1 or 2. Both they make sense. It doesn't make sense, but those are 2 of my theories.
Well, it's either one or the other, right? It's either targeted or
Right.
random.
Right.
But
It wasn't a
like
ghost.
behind their house, they have those 2 sliders on the back patio. And I mean, if they were left open, I mean, it wouldn't take. I mean, I could get to the 2nd floor. I'm not,
Yeah.
upper body strong, but I could definitely get up there and start swinging my legs around and try to get up. If there was a dog chasing me,
Yeah.
I would be right up there. Hey,
Well,
Cheryl.
if you notice on the 3rd floor, the hill goes up right next to it. I noticed that today. To on the 3rd floor balcony, I guess to the right of the balcony, the
It
hill
looks
goes
like
up.
my
Like you could,
backyard, right, Chisme?
not sure.
Because you've
I've
seen the
seen the
mountains I live in.
mountains. Yeah, I've seen the mountains. Yeah, okay, yeah. So it looks like someone could just hop right onto the 3rd floor balcony.
I just find it weird that the that night that I told you that I was thinking about the Idaho 4 because I really was not going to cover it and stay on top of it. But then I had that weird feeling how much it reminded me of the Danny Rollins of the Gainesville. So then we went into that little documentary. And then it was funny how we were talking about someone in chat had brought up the nurses in Chicago. And then I was just kind of like, gosh, that was one of the first stories I ever remember hearing. And now there's 2 profilers and an ex-detective that are talking about the similarity to Danny Rollins and the nurse, the guy. I couldn't believe when he mentioned the nurse story.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the Nutcracker parents. There's some cases that I can't figure out. I'm still waiting for the Chrissy Powell autopsy report, but they still won't release it. Because when it's available, Chisme's going to ride over to the courthouse and pick it up for us. If they
What's
don't
that
email
again?
it. The Chrissy
Oh,
Powell report in Bexar
yeah.
County.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear
I
what the
still
dad has.
think it's weird that the office worker took two cops to check her on her at her house. Okay,
They,
before she went missing.
I think they have to live close by. I think, we know that Ted Bundy stalked the colleges. We know that Danny Rollins was living in a tent in the woods. I mean, ah, I don't. Let's hear what the dad says. I actually have not heard this interview yet. Let me see if I past the ad.
I guess
Nope.
because they blend in because there's a lot of people walking around, a lot of students.
But let me say what I thought was weird too from those people talking. So did you guys notice the one kid said that they have that they're going to put in a light. Okay, well, we're going to put in a light pole
Yeah,
now.
in
He
case.
also said, and what was the second thing that he said that they were going to put more in? Cameras.
Yeah,
Cameras. So that tells me that there's not as many cameras in that direct area that we're all assuming are there and that should be there. Hey, Mr. X, you mysterious, sexy beast. Ugh, okay.
Sometimes you're so
oh my
busy taking care of
goodness.
everyone else, you don't do enough for yourself or
What is up with the ads? So let's see why.
Money,
I
money.
wonder if yeah, right. I wonder if her father believes that she was the target. And if he does believe that, why does he believe that?
The one
Mr.
neighbor
X is
said
going to
that
come up later
okay,
and talk
when he
about his.
walked, go ahead,
All right, let
talk
me
about his
reload this.
teeth.
Go ahead. Talk about his channel.
Oh, they just said his teeth.
Now I want him to come up and drop his link, and he has a little Sunday channel they do. It's not. He'll explain it. Okay, let's watch this, guys. Come on, you can do. Why is Fox so mean? Here we go.
Because of Trump?
Okay, wait, no. See, you have to stop talking, trust me. I'm only kidding. Here we go. It went to the next story. We were watching DeSantis.
Wait, I bet you don't tell Mr. X not to talk.
Yeah, Mr. X likes to talk. He's definitely a talker. I like him. He's a cool guy.
He's oral.
He's a cool guy.
I know he is. Remember what I told you I was going to do?
Okay, stop talking.
At least 3 days to hold a news conference, warning residents
They're not
there
even. They
that
haven't
a
even
killer
said-
was on
okay,
the
yeah.
loose. Now, after a week of the shock waves, the concern continues. For more, let's turn to a resident of Moscow, Idaho. Sean Richards is with us. Sean, thank you for joining us. We are so sorry for you and your community. What is the mood? What is the sense there now at this moment?
Well, I think
No, Jennifer. Mr. X and Jim Terry are completely unrelated, different people.
the prevailing mood, of course, is devastation, heartbreak, but also it's very tense. People are concerned about where the person or persons is, since there's not a suspect or anything. So it's pretty tense, and people are just trying to be vigilant and keep an eye out for one another.
Do you have any comfort, any sense of relief in the sense that the police have said that they believe this is a targeted killing, and are people changing their behaviors because of what happened?
I don't think people are really changing their behavior because of the statement from the police about the targeted killings. It's just, there's just so many unanswered questions and unexplained circumstances that people are just still trying to be real careful.
Yeah, we don't know, obviously, who did it. We don't know if it was romantic rejection, some fury and anger, a personal emotion involved in this.
Nope.
Let's look at some of the evidence that police and has been reported so far. Let's take a look at the timeline for a second, if we can. We know that two of the girls, Kaylee and Madison, that they went to a bar downtown
Okay,
at
Mr.
10
X.
p.m. And they were at that bar downtown to about 1:30 in the morning. Then they left the corner club. We see the timeline on the screen. And they walked over to that food truck. This was about 1:41 in the morning. Then they apparently got a ride from somebody at 1:45. And we have not yet been told who that person is.
I know I keep saying this, but I can't. I just don't feel like it was a targeted attack against one of these rejection girls, because as sick as it sounds for me to say this, but to play the devil advocate, I think there would have been SA involved. Like I cannot wrap my head around this whole entire situation. Does
If
that
it
make sense to you,
maybe
Chisme?
it doesn't make nothing makes sense. But what if it was like a Jeffrey Dahmer type person, and it was not targeted? But as far as the SA, it could have not been
Even Jeffrey
where
Dahmer
SA
did that
goes.
to.
Yeah, it
No,
could have been
Jeffrey
in an
Dahmer did that.
orifice. Yeah, if there's an they could have done SA on the knife
An
wound.
acrophiliac.
Yeah, or just the feeling,
I think they would say
of the
something.
blood.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is Jim Terry TV too. Mr. X runs a second channel, but he's going to come up and explain it. Hey, Dia. Hello, Leisha. You guys, he'll explain it to you guys.
It's his sidekick.
But I
Sidekick.
can't wrap my head around it. It's so bizarre.
But did you see how you can
Is who
how
drove
they
them
showed
back
the
to the
third floor
house.
balcony?
It's
You could
it's
just
like a second
walk
floor
in.
balcony. Well, there's two
I'm
stories, but
talking
it's
about
like
the third floor.
yeah, it's like the front of the floor. The front floor is like up on the level, and then it goes back up on the hill where they put that second connection. Yes.
Attack from 3 to 4 in the morning. And now you have new reports about the phone calls. Kaylee giving 7 phone calls to her longtime boyfriend from 2:26 to 2:52 a.m. You see Kaylee on the left, Madison on the right. Also 3 calls from their phone from 2:44 to 2:52. So, Sean, it seems maybe something happened at 2:52 or right after that. We don't know, as of this moment, if it was Kaylee and Madison making those calls, or if it was someone else, potentially the killer, making those calls. What do you hope to learn soon? There'll be a news conference later on tonight. What's most concerning on people's minds, and hope to potentially clear this all up?
Well, I think obviously the number one priority would be to identify a suspect and, of course, apprehend them. There's just, again, it's just so confusing with all this information about the phone calls and the other 2 people that were in the house. I think we just need more answers, period.
Yeah, and certainly we'll probably get those later on today. You have traffic cameras, security cameras, cell phone towers actually can identify someone's cell phone if they're looking into that. Sean, our prayers and our thoughts are with you and with the residents of Moscow, Idaho, in this very difficult time. We expect that press conference less than 6 hours from now. So perhaps you and us and the rest of the nation can get some answers. Sean Reinhardt of
All right.
Moscow, Idaho. Thank you, Sean, for joining us.
And I'm pretty sure that was the press conference that we've watched probably 25 times.
Jennifer Cooley, that I believe that one was Doug's. And the neighbor
Wait,
said
you
that
don't have to shut up, Jennifer. I don't know what's going on. I walked away.
no.
Fantasy killing disrupted. Dia says, Jim and Mick, I don't know. I know nothing about that. Be nice to Mr. X, guys. He's a chill, intelligent man. And yes, he does put up with Jim Terry, but you know what? Like I've said, I like Jim Terry. Some people don't. Do we hang out and start trouble together? Absolutely not. But he's a definite special kind of flavor.
Flavor Flav. I think he said he even knows Flavor Flav.
Okay, so let's think about this for a minute. We know that Xana's mother was arrested for drugs. And Xana was with the boyfriend. Should we go back and play? How many of you guys last night didn't see the video with the guy, Johnny Law? Have you all seen that video where he breaks down the house?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking in chat.
I know, but I felt like you were asking me since it feels so personal. See, Mama.
But I'm just not getting why they keep thinking that Kaylee was the target, but they're not saying that.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, exactly. Then I'm just gonna sit here and say, right. Just kidding.
So this is the last video, and then we're gonna get into Reddit, and then we'll talk about a bit. And if anybody wants to come on panel and knows something about the Shanquella case, Jennifer, anyone, you're more than welcome. You guys could even share your screen, whatever you have, more than welcome. But let's do this. Let's go to Reddit, and then let's jump into Twitter on the Idaho 4. But I feel like my gut, like it was just like some weirdo that didn't know them personally, but I can't make sense of it. Who's this guy? Thanksgiving Day Massacre. Oh, that's nice. Husband goes on a shooting rampage in Houston home. Huh. My gosh,
Has
you
to
can't
be
make this
Texas.
shit up.
Property,
Can't make it up.
The neighbor said that he walks his dog by there and he can see the people partying up through the windows. I remember saying something like that.
The reports, you
Hang
know
on.
what we know, and perhaps more. I'm not sure with what investigators have
wait.
told us so far.
not
Based
sign a
on
30-year
what
mortgage.
you have in front of you, what can you
What
glean?
the hell
And
is
it
going
possible
on?
that investigators know a whole lot more than they're letting on at this?
Know more than we do, and if we know as much as they do, then there's a lot not to be grateful for on this Thanksgiving. They need to know more than we do. They need to keep this information close to their vest. As much thirst knowledge, especially in a high-profile case like this, they would compromise their investigation if they revealed to us too many details. When they do catch the suspects involved and they sit them down and they want a confession out of them, they'll know that these people couldn't have gotten the information from anywhere other than being there firsthand.
Here, one of the things investigators have been willing to do is to give us a little information about what they know didn't happen. They know that the roommates that have been asleep downstairs had
Hey,
nothing to do
Tracy.
with crime instance, that sort of thing. Does that give us some insight into this crime? What investigators are willing to share as far as what did not occur there at the scene?
No, it just means two people who the public has speculated about, along with every other victim here, have now been exonerated. And that was important for police to do, and it doesn't compromise the investigation. But my biggest concern right now with the information we're getting is how reliable is it? When I first appeared on this network, the first day, and they announced it was an isolated, targeted attack, and the community had nothing to worry about. There was no imminent threat to the public. We all said, okay, maybe that's true. And if it is, let's all relax. Kids can now walk on campus freely. Days later, they completely reversed themselves, saying, no, fear, you can go ahead and have that because we screwed up. So my question is, what is reliable from them at this point?
Well, Mark, to your point, because now the university there, they've made more, they've upgraded their security and patrols and et cetera around the campus area. And to your point, if you feel that investigators made those initial mistakes, which is possible in cases, as you well know, however, as you pointed out, they did make these mistakes in this case. Does that bring you to believe that perhaps they missed some clues and maybe didn't take the investigation initially in the direction that they may have found out about this horrible situation?
No, it just means that somebody screwed up. It means that when we're trying to establish a relationship with those who are supposed to be keeping a very credible investigation going, they're initially telling us something that's not supported days later. So that starts a communication problem. Your word is your bond in life and in this case. And when you screw it up, we start to question things. The good news, however, let's talk about what to be grateful for. The FBI is partnering with local authorities. There then brings a wealth
Freedom for life
of
when you buy
resources that
multifamily
local
property.
authorities don't have. We also know that they are going through video surveillance. Nowadays, you can't do anything without someone's ring capturing it.
Right.
So you go through all the video surveillance. If people don't want to provide it, you hit them with a subpoena and you get those items. And they're also combing through leads on who might have sold the type of weapon, the knife that they believe was used in this horrific attack. And maybe those leads pan out. Apparently, there's over 700 leads, 90 people have been interviewed, and hopefully something yields fruit in this case.
Mark, what about the potential of the GPS and the vehicles, the student vehicles that are parked there still unseen in front of the house? You know, can they look into that without taking those vehicles away? Like, why are those vehicles still parked there?
If they haven't been able to take them away, likely it's because they can't at this point, and or they don't feel like, I don't know. That they generally do, law enforcement and the FBI, because there's so much pressure to find leads in this case. So let's at least still give them the benefit of the doubt in light of the initial rhetoric that turned out to be false.
Well, oftentimes local jurisdictions, local police departments just don't have the resources. And this came, I mean, no one expected something like this in this small, sleepy community for sure. So let's hope to get the answers for those families and for that community. Mark Eiglarsh, thank you very much for joining us today.
Okay, that was strange. Every time I hit pause on that video, it would play an ad. Did you hear that, or am I insane?
Yeah, they
The
wanted
News
you to
Nation video, B, you should watch.
buy.
Go ahead, my Mexicana
No,
baby.
I was just gonna say that they wanted you to buy a house, but go ahead on the commercial.
B, are you talking about the one that was out like 6 hours ago? Because if you are, that one is in queue right now. That's the
If you see
last
some of
one. Go ahead.
Patty and Pinks was asking about the curtains, but if you look at the video, one of their videos of when they had a party there, they didn't have curtains up, and I believe they were on the second floor. You can see the
Yes,
stairs.
I'm gonna go back and play a little bit of the Johnny Law video since a couple people have not seen that to actually see where they were in the rooms. Like, it's an amazing video. It's not long
Yeah,
either.
I want to see it
But
again. Mhm.
but this is the article. This is the interview, I'm pretty sure. And I have not seen this one yet, but I had it on my note card. So let's see if this is what B is talking about.
Well, tomorrow marks 2 weeks since the shocking murders of University of Idaho students stabbed to death in their sleep. And there is still no suspect, no murder weapon believed to be a fixed blade knife.
You know what? We honestly, at the end of the day, do not know that they were all sleeping when they got stabbed. I mean, maybe the first person or the first two, but you had to have woken up. I do not care if the music was playing dubstep on the high 100. You have to hear. I just couldn't even imagine not hearing somebody being stabbed to death.
We know that investigators 260 digital submissions of photos and videos from the public sent to an FBI link. And here to give us some perspective on this case, Tracy Walder, former CIA officer and FBI special agent. Tracy, always good to see you. Thank you for being on the show.
Good to see you too, Natasha. Thank you.
And we know that investigators say that they have not ruled out more than one attacker. And the father of Kaylee quoted as saying that the killer was sloppy, that they left behind a mess of evidence. If this is the case, can you give us some insight into why we don't have a suspect yet?
So I think that that's a good question. I think the reality is we may actually have a suspect. However, law enforcement wants to ensure that they have all of the evidence in place, because to Kaylee's father's point, there is a lot of evidence and there is a lot of leads that they have. And the reality is it takes a long time to comb through all of that forensic evidence, no matter how high profile this case is. You have biological evidence, you have digital evidence, you have all of that evidence that has to be poured through and has to be done so systematically. So I obviously do not know if they actually have a suspect, but law enforcement may have their sights set on someone at this point.
Interesting. And the Idaho State Police quoted as saying that there does not appear to be any forced entry. What do you make of this?
So I make several things about that as a former college student myself and as a college professor now. You know, I think a lot of times we take safety for granted, and a lot of times we leave doors open at all hours of the night. I don't necessarily know that that was unusual in this place. From what I understand from interviews that I've seen, this was sort of your typical college, I guess, party house, if you will, and people came in and out really at all hours of the night. And so I suspect that whomever came in entered on sort of that second floor, or the first floor, I guess, if you're looking at ground level, first floor and then second floor, through that sliding glass door that you see a lot of times in the news clips. And so I don't make too much of it in that many people do not lock their doors.
Yeah, and we know that the FBI, when asking for the public's help, mentioned two locations they're particularly interested in: downtown Moscow and then Sigma Chi House as well. Can you tell us what type of evidence would be on this digital link, and what specifically are they going to be looking for as they comb through those files?
So what that sounds to me is that the FBI is actually working backwards, which makes a whole lot of sense, retracing movements backwards from when they entered the home, from when the victims entered the home, to where they really spent sort of the last hours of their evening. So really what they're looking for is Ring doorbell cameras. And to take that one step farther, they're not just looking at the Sigma Chi house or just at a specific place in downtown Moscow. They are probably looking at Ring cameras throughout the location, leading them all the way back to the house where the murder.
I mean, my gosh, every time I see these beautiful faces, I honestly just, it's
beautiful.
It's unbelievably beautiful. And to think, I mean, then what was the motive? Like, I mean, could it possibly at the end of the day be a female?
Murder happened. So that way they can see what cars are coming in and out, what people are coming out in and out on foot. I mean, we have to remember folks who just lived a baseball throw, away from this house said that they didn't hear anything. And so I really think that digital evidence is going to be very, very critical in retracing the killer's steps backwards.
Right. And it's not just this digital evidence. We know investigators have more than 1,000 tips, Idaho's governor committing more than $1 million to the investigation, and 45 FBI agents, more than 45 on the case. So as you are tracking this case so far, is there anything in particular that stands out to you in this moment in time that you think requires more investigation?
Sure. One of the things that I sort of heard mentioned today was from the coroner, and that all of the victims were not necessarily in bed when they were attacked, and all of the victims were not necessarily on their respective floors in the rooms that they slept in. And so I would be interested in terms of following up a little bit more in regards to that. For example, I don't think that this was some kind of a burglary. The killer obviously had intent, and really what's coming more and more, I think, to a head here is that there was some kind of target involved in that. The killer entered in on that first floor, then went up to the second floor. We know that 2 victims were found on the second floor, 2 victims were found on the first floor, and the 2 on the ground floor.
Yes, you come in the ground floor. Now, either this guy did not know that there was rooms on the ground floor, or, I mean, it's so freaking bizarre. I mean,
were alive. And I think that is interesting. And that means that someone had to walk up those stairs to intentionally put themselves out there to be potentially caught or to make a noise to cause someone to stir to look for someone. And so I would really want to know who was on those floors, what were they doing, who were they texting and communicating with, and what were their movements like?
Yeah, absolutely. Always appreciate the context and insight. Tracy Walder, thank you so much for your time.
I agree, Lynn. I thought they looked like very close to being sisters. Okay, let's just run through this one video before we get into Reddit, because Reddit's got some creepy shit out there today. But I want to play real quick for the people that did not see the layout of the house, because it even makes it even creepier. And I am going to ask, I left Johnny Law a message if he could come over and join us one day, and I'll re-tag him again. See if he wants to come over with the new. He might even have dropped a new video. Let me find him. There he is. I love this guy. Okay, let me just check and see if he dropped a new one. No. Okay. I'm going to put it on 1.5 just for the people that haven't seen it, because this is so informative. He really breaks it down.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to break down the house, 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, where there was a quadruple murder of the University of Idaho students. I had a lot of questions on my previous videos, which I'll link up here, in regards to how can the two girls that were downstairs not hear what was going on. So there's a lot of speculation about that. And I don't know if people really understand the flow of this house based on what the news has put out there. So I've decided to maybe help you understand it a little bit in my own words and how I can break this down. I got some photos to compare it to. So if you're interested in seeing the flow of this house and how it's laid out, then keep watching the video. And if you haven't checked out my other two videos where I discuss it, I'll link them up above. All right, so let's get to it. I'm just going to be an interactive video. I have my iPad here with some pictures. So I'm going to be looking down a little bit and writing on an iPad. And to do that, I need to be able to see my iPad. So I have to put on sunglasses because I'm idiot.
Okay, guys, I'm going to mic down. I'm not going to interrupt him for you that haven't seen it. And I've only seen it the one time, so I'm probably going to catch more on it. But this guy right here, 20 years, he was a crime scene investigator. And the way that he breaks down this house is absolutely amazing. And you will see that there are no back curtains in these windows.
It's okay. All right, look at the house. First thing we want to look at is the overall drone shot that I think probably the news media shot. And as you're going to see, this is a 3-story dwelling. This section right here was the original section, and this section was added later on. Okay, so this is floor 1. This is floor 2. 1 and 2. We're going to consider this 3. There's actually a drop down in here. It's a little step, but I'm going to break it down a little bit more for you. So that's the overall shot of the house. So let's take a look at a sketch that was provided to me, apparently by the property management. It is obviously not to scale, but in comparing this to a lot of the Zillow photos, it is pretty accurate in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here so everybody can see this real closely. Now you can see we have the front door here that's from the street where all the cars are parked out here. You go into the first floor, second floor, and as I said earlier, there's a little step down in here. This was an addition that was put on. So this is still part of the second floor, but that's why it's in blue. And then the third level here. All right, I'm going to walk you through going through the front door. So let's enter the door. Immediately to your left, there is a set of stairs. These stairs take you up to level 2. There's a hallway with a bathroom straight ahead and a laundry room inside of there. Then we go to bedroom 1A. Now 1A, we think is Bethany's room. 1A looks like this inside. Here is one angle to Bethany's room. Here's where you come in the front door, and this is what the room looks like. This is, I'm assuming, either a bathroom closet, or I don't know if this is the bathroom or this is the bathroom, but one of those is the bathroom and one of them is probably a closet. It's not really easy to tell, but that is one angle of that room where Bethany's is. Here's another angle. There's the window where all the cars are parked out front. And if you look up in the left-hand corner here, this is the angle to the stairs. So the stairs, this is where the stairs would go up to that additional floor, if that makes sense. Bedroom 1B. Bedroom 1B, you break to the right and it ends up over there. Let's take a look at bedroom 1B. Now 1B is an interesting room. To me, it seems like it is the smallest room in the house. So if there's a 6-bedroom house and it's full and you are stuck with this bedroom 1B and one of the other rooms opened up, I would think that you may want to get out of this room and go up to a warmer floor that's a bigger bedroom. It's my assumption. Maybe that doesn't happen. Now, I don't know who's occupying this room. Now, it's either got to be Dylan or nobody. All right. So this is floor bedroom 1B. All right. Here's another angle. This is the street view, as you can see right here. Let's go up the stairs to floor number 2. All right. So here is floor 2. So coming up the stairs, we are now on level 2. You button hook to the right. That is the living room. There is a bathroom here and bedroom, which is labeled 2B, which is what we're assuming is Zaina and Ethan's bedroom. Not Ethan, but Zaina's, where Ethan was sleeping. That is by social media accounts and friends. Across here is another bedroom, 2A. Same floor. But this is where we don't know if this room is vacant, because there is obviously one room that's vacant. There are social media pictures of Dylan in this room, several in this room, that indicate that she may have switched rooms from downstairs from 1B, which I showed you earlier, up to A. Unconfirmed, but it would make sense if a lot of recent pictures are being shown with her in that bedroom. Why is that important? Diagram here. We can see of 1A, directly
This
above
man is
1A,
brilliant.
is no rooms at all. It's a living room. So directly above, there's nobody there. There's no noise being made above. There's nothing above 1A. If 1B is vacant, then below 2B is nothing. Nobody in 1B to hear anything in 2B. If Dylan is not in this room, but she's up now in 2A. Now, if Dylan is in 1B, then she could potentially hear things in 2B above her. If Dylan is in 1B, she may be able to hear things in 2B. Maybe not. I don't know the structure of the house, the construction, how well it's insulated. Is she sleeping with a fan? I don't know any of that information. Only investigators know that. But in the position of the house, if there is someone there, there will be somebody directly above them. But if she is not, and she is up here in 2A, then she's not going to hear that. Let's stick to 2B. Let's stick to the second floor. So we have Zaina and Ethan in that room. There's a little step down that I showed you earlier. That's still part of the second floor. So it steps down into this area here. This is where the kitchen, sink, and all of those things are located. So the second floor, we have the back patio, which anybody can walk up here and enter there. This back patio enters the kitchen. Here's the kitchen. You see the back patio here. You come up the gravel, access to the sliding glass door to the kitchen here. Here's another picture of the kitchen. You see the pillars right here and the layout of the kitchen itself. Here's floor 2 that I talked about. This is coming up the stairs from below, but hooks into this living room. You see here to the bottom right, this is that little step down. You see the step that goes here and then down. Another shot. You come up these stairs from up here. You button hook living room, keep button hook. That is Zaina's room, where Ethan and her were most likely sleeping. Unconfirmed, but most likely. Then there's a bathroom on the other side of that wall. Here is the street view from where people were. Okay, let's stick to 2B just for a minute. Now, everybody has seen the photos of the red substance that's down the back of the wall. I wanted to point that out on where this is in relationship to the house and the bedrooms that are inside. So here on 2B, this area right here that you see is about the area where those stains are found along the wall. Whether it's blood or not blood, the red stains that are there, that's the proximity of this bedroom. Whether the bed was laid out in this fashion or the bed was laid out in that fashion were unknown. Okay, so I hope that makes sense about where that is in position. Now I'm going to show you another picture of the outside of this, where this is located, where 2B and the outside of that is located. There's been some comments back and forth about how did it go 2 stories down and all of this. people have been calling it blood. As an investigator, we don't identify substances just by looking at them. We call them suspected. In this case, suspected blood. We could field test that, but until it is collected, sent to a lab, we're not going to call it blood. We're going to call it suspected blood or a red substance, red liquid substance. So let me just say that this red liquid substance that gravity pulled down is at this area. And I want to show you that it's not traveling a large amount of distance. Okay. All right. I'm going to take you back to the drone footage. And now that you know at least floors 1 and 2, I'm going to show you where these stains were and how far.
Do you guys see that bush line right there behind that house in the corner? I mean, this guy could have been out there watching, creeping. He could have been creeping a couple more houses. I just don't feel like it was targeted against one of those blondes because because of the SA not being involved, unless it was a female. But then we have to remember that Xana's mom was just arrested on drug charges.
They traveled. So I'm going to zoom in here, and this is the area right here where those are. As you can see, if I pan out a little bit, there is dirt and ground and earth right up to that point. So this area right here is where I was talking about the bedroom with Xana and where Ethan was probably staying. So that is the room in relationship to the house. And that stain that you're seeing is right there. I'm going to show you another picture. Okay, now this picture is just a close-up of the same one you just saw pulled out. You can see it's not very far from the ground.
Looks like
the
blood.
ground level is right here, and this is the bottom. And there's also a pipe here that is located. It is kind of particular that this pattern of red fluid is going down in this direction here. In this little section here, it looks like the fluid possibly came over the top because the next staining pattern is down below that appears to be the same texture and consistency of that this may have started here, gone over, and then gravity took it back to the house and it came down. So don't know what that is, or I shouldn't say we, the investigators may by now know what that is based on their testing, their field testing or lab results, but we're just speculating at this point, if anything, because evidence is going to speak for itself. And you never want to jump conclusions on anything. So that's why we're calling it what they're calling it. And with the investigators, I don't even know if they've called it anything. I haven't even seen anything. It's just been the media and social calling this blood, but it's suspected blood potentially, or it could just be a red surface and that there's something that's in that pipe that we don't know about. Okay.
Yes, Jen B, go back to last night's live. Kaz actually pulls the report out. Yeah, her mother was arrested just right around the time of the murders.
Okay.
It looks
So you now from the second floor to the third floor. All right, let's take a look. So we are here on the second floor. We're going to go up these stairs here. These stairs take you up and they button hook around and come up to this hallway. You button hook to the left. This is on the diagram 3B, which is suspected Kaylee's room. You button hook to the right. There is a bath here, and this is Maddie's bedroom. Whether they were there at the time on November 13th is unconfirmed. More than likely, if that is their bedroom, then that is most likely where they were sleeping. There are pictures of Maddie here with an M in the window and some purple boots. So if that's, following with that pieces of evidence, if those are her boots and she's seen with those boots, as well as the M for Maddie, it would lead one to believe that probably located. Don't know any positions of them throughout the house. This is just, if it's your bedroom and you were sleeping there, that is potentially most likely where you were sleeping, but it's unconfirmed. So we're not jumping to any conclusion. Where there's those dear souls were sleeping are the crime scene investigators and detectives that went into that house in the corner. That is the only people that know where they were located in this house. So don't jump to any conclusions, but that's the way the house is laid out. So I'm going to show you one more thing. So once again, I'm just going to point out a couple things on hearing something in the house. So let's break it down to floors 2 and 3 now. So let's get 2. If Dylan is not in this bedroom, then where Maddie was murdered, there's nobody below to hear that happening. Below Kaylee's bedroom is a kitchen. So nobody's down there to hear anything on level 3. If Dylan is in 2A, then the potential for her to hear something in 3A is there because it's directly above her. Whether she could or not, that's what investigators have to follow up on and question her on. There may be other external factors that we don't know about, so we're not going to jump to conclusions. But I hope this video was helpful on just a little bit of a walkthrough of the house itself so you can get an idea. Outside photos don't always show the true workings of the layout. It shows the blueprint, but not so much the layout. So I hope this video was helpful for you to clear up a couple different things. And if you want to check out the videos that I did before, I'm going to leave them on the end screen or one of the cards up above here. And if you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them on the YouTube channel. I'm going to try to get to all the comments that I can. But I appreciate you guys, and let's keep praying
Thank you,
for the families, for
Johnny.
some peace and for justice for them and for the investigators that are just killing themselves.
It's funny, guys, because I actually wrote him yesterday and said that excellent video. I would like to share this on my channel live if that's okay. Even though he called me Monica, he said, "You're welcome. I'd be honored. Thank you." And then he gave me a heart. I asked him for permission. Yes, we will pull up the Reddit, Gen B, after this. I want to see this Pat thing real quick that Doug was talking about. And in the Reddit, she's got like, I think she might have more charges than Bullhorn Betty. Could you imagine?
Happy Black Friday.
Chisme, could you imagine having more charges than Bullhorn Betty? Hey, Annie. Yes, the mother will go over her charges. She's on Reddit too. Oh, yeah. So let's see. I've heard about her, but I've never listened to her. Let's see what she's going to talk about. It's 40 minutes. We'll see if...
Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown.
Hi,
and
Pat.
I have been asked over the last number of days to please profile the crime of the Idaho student murder. And I not want to do so. There was little information coming out that I would just have nothing to say particularly. However, now more information has come out courtesy of the Daily Mail, the UK paper, which some people call the Daily Fail, but they do have good crime news. So I'll guarantee that
The Daily
news
Fail.
of the U.S. crimes is better than the U.S. papers. So go figure. So there is more information out. And because of that, I can now do a little more analyzing of the crime. But what I'm going to tell you is I'm not doing a profile of the crime. I am profiling the crime. And that's two different things. And I want people to understand
Hey,
that
Ro.
because there's a lot of misconceptions about profiling. The basic conception is that you're going to profile the crime. You're going to say exactly who the offender is. And there recently was a retired FBI profiler who came out on air and did give such a profile. He said it was a young man, sloppy, impulsive, liked knives, and would go around showing people his knives.
Look at how much those two girls look like twins right there. What a shame.
They do.
Just,
I get their
just
names
absolutely,
mixed up.
absolutely beautiful. What a
Mhm,
shame. What a
gorgeous.
senseless. I hope they find this man soon. I think we might actually be shocked who this person may end up being.
And probably a hunter or a butcher because he didn't shy from the sight of blood, and that he wouldn't be working during those hours of the night,
Hi,
and that he
Annie.
might have left town, and so on and so forth. A lot of this is general stuff, and some of it's plain out guesswork that has absolutely no support in evidence. This is not an actual methodology of profiling I approve of. Profiling is when you analyze the evidence deductively. You analyze the physical evidence, you analyze the behavioral evidence, and what you do is you develop avenues of investigation, not absolutes, avenues of investigation based on what you know. It's supposed to be a tool for investigators, not something that's a pronouncement, like a psychic thing. It's like, I know who this guy is. He's exactly this. No, you could throw a whole investigation off track. What you're doing is analyzing the evidence logically and coming up with these avenues of investigation. You might have avenues you think are better to be investigated than others. So you might have priorities, like we're going to go down this direction, and then we're also going to take a look at this, and not so much this, but we're going to check it out. And we may have a top person of interest, but that doesn't mean that person did it. And so this is exactly what detectives are doing right now who are working on the investigation. They are profilers in their own right. So they have to be doing this. So detectives on the case or profilers brought in, which is not done very often, but if a profiler were working with the police department, they would be doing this as well, maybe bringing in experience from many, many cases, which could be very useful to the investigation. And so profiling, well, depends on how much information you have. Now, I'm not working with the police department. I haven't seen the crime scene photos. I haven't seen the autopsy photos. I haven't seen the evidence reports. I haven't seen any of the interviews. I'm working with pretty much what you out here in the public are working with. Therefore, my profiling determinations are going to be not as good as somebody who has access to everything. But I do think I can work with what I have to help you understand how the process works and what the police might be doing. So that's what I'm going to show you with this video. All right, so the police, I believe, are looking at three basic avenues of who killed these young people. They're looking at one of the avenues is going to be the stalking concept. A lot of people have talked about the video that was seen at the food truck with two of the girls. That would be Madison and Kaylee are out at the food truck chatting with everybody, and there's like some creepy, I don't know if that's the guy, but there's some creepy dude in the background. I think it's this guy over here. And then there is a question about other people who they had run into that night who could be stalking them. Or somebody even not to do with that night, but who might be stalking them anyway. Or the other two, which would be Ethan and Xana. That was the couple that was at the house. So the stalking angle is one angle. The next angle is serial killer / mass murderer crazy guy. Somebody like Danny Rowland was the game.
I am absolutely dead right now. Look at even this Pat Brown profiler is copying us, Chisme. I'm kidding, but
watch the show.
It's crazy that I was like, I think I might have been the first one to actually even mention Danny Rollins with the consistencies. Oh my gosh. Oh, please don't be
Girl,
something
you
like a
got it.
Danny Rollins.
What if someone was after Ethan? Just him. And she was following him or he was following him.
Then why kill the other two girls? I mean,
because she or he didn't want him to be with them, and the other ones maybe try to help, and they were saying telling the phone, hey, call Siri, call Jack, or what's his name, Jack or Jake?
It was Jack, but they were actually they called from her phone, and then they used Kaylee's phone afterwards. They called from both phones. So I don't think it was Alexa or Siri.
Gainesville killer. He killed 5 students in Gainesville, Florida, way back when, and one was a couple. There was a guy sleeping over at the girl's house, and he killed him. He didn't rape the guy; he just killed the guy and then raped the girl. And he was a rapist and a torturer. And then he killed him and did other things with him. Pretty brutal guy. And he used a K-bar knife, which some believe might have been used in this particular crime. Now, none of the people in the house, none of the victims were sexually assaulted, and that, as far as we know, that's what we've been told, which is pretty odd for a serial killer of this sort to go in there and just kill and walk away. So, not that it couldn't be a serial killer who's more into just killing, or a mass murderer type who just wanted to go in and take everybody out, a possibility. So that's a second avenue of investigation. The third one would be Kaylee's boyfriend. Kaylee's boyfriend is, let me remember his name here. Kaylee's boyfriend, or somebody like a boyfriend, is somebody who knew one of the girls very well. Theoretically, it could be one of them. Let me see. Hold on a second. I just want to bring up the name of this guy. Okay. So this is Kaylee and her ex-boyfriend, Jack. I'm not sure how his name is pronounced. Ducour. They were in an on-off relationship. So we're just going to call him Jack from here on out. There are some reasons why he would be a person of interest, and I'm going to get to that in a little. But let me go back to
Yeah, he does look creepy.
To the stalker one. I'm going to go back to avenue number one. All right. So avenue number one, we got the theory of somebody stalking. All right. I have some problems with this because usually stalkers stalk for quite a while. They pick out one victim, somebody they're really obsessed with, and they go after that one victim. And in this particular case, we have someone who accessed a home with a student house where there were 6 people there, coming in at all hours, perhaps staying up at night. That's a pretty unknown quantity of people and what they're doing even in the middle of the night. So if you're a stalker and you just want to have your one moment in the sun by killing the one person you're obsessed with, it's pretty weird that you would go into a house with that many people.
Exactly.
So it's difficult to think that's what it was, just a random stalker who had their eye. There's a lot of other times a stalker could kill the victim of choice and not have to do it with a whole bunch of other people around. Yeah, that just I find really odd. And then that stalker would have to understand the layout of the house and where that victim would be. It's dark there, and he would have to know the bedroom that the person was in. So possibly that stalker could have known the victims and been in their house before, and therefore could have come in. Let me show you the house itself. Come in. This is where the access point was. Come in here, and then said, "Okay, now I'm in the house. I'm going to find the one I want to kill," and just go there, maybe upstairs, and kill the one girl. But if he knows where she is and he's killed the one girl, there's really not much reason to go kill everybody else. There's the others were, again, I do not know exactly, supposedly asleep. So if that's true, if he was able to kill that one person and no one will, or
You know what? Doesn't she sound like on point to everything that we have been discussing in side chat?
Yep, that's what we've been saying.
Right? Like this woman is totally on point, in my opinion. I mean, she's saying
Yeah.
everything that I'm trying to make sense of.
it wasn't.
Yeah, she did watch this channel.
And it'd be wiser to get the heck out of the house than try to have to kill
Mhm.
3 more people. That seems a little excessive for a stalker. So I have a bit of trouble with that. The stalker theory is just a little on the weak side for me. If it was somebody who followed them home that night, this is quite a
Be nice.
then they would have very little understanding of even the house and where everybody slept. So that stalker would have to hate everybody and just go in there and kill everyone for no reason. So I lean away from the stalker theory just because I can't come up with a good reason and a good methodology for that stalker to commit this crime. So let's go to the next one, which is a little bit more reasonable to me. All right. Some kind of serial killer, mass murderer.
Yes,
dude.
Lilac, I agree.
Somebody who wanted the thrill of the kill and maybe had been spying. Danny Rowland used to watch these student houses and make his decision when to go in. And even if there were 2 there, he didn't mind 2. He'd go in and kill 2.
Yeah.
So it could be somebody like that who just for the thrill of the kill decided, look, I'm going to get one of these bunch of students. And I saw the girls go in there. Now I know there's girls in there. Now, mind you, when we look back at the victims, Ethan here he was sleeping over because it was her boyfriend. And I don't know how often he did that. Obviously, with girls, sometimes do bring their boyfriends in, but this was a female house. It wasn't a mixed, they didn't wear like three boys and 3 girls in this house. It was a female house. He was just there because he was staying over with his girlfriend. If he wasn't supposed to be there, then a mass murderer, serial killer type could say, hey, I'm going in there and get the girls. He could decide that, well, if I come in this part of the house, I'm going to get whatever girls are up here. Not worried about the ones down here where 2 more were, but hey, there's girls up here. I'll get whatever's up here. And he goes through and methodically kills them because he finds that thrilling.
I don't agree with that.
Is that possible? It's an avenue. Because sometimes you got a person who will, just really hone in on a particular group that he sees. I don't know how he got in. There supposedly is one of these pads you have to click in a code. Now, was it actually initiated? Was the place locked up? That would be a good question, and I don't know the exact answer to that. The girls were drunk, so did they come in and not activate it? I don't know how their system worked, whether it was automatic or not. If there was a code needed to get in, then it would be unlikely that some guy watching the place would know the code. If it was left open, then the guy can get in. And here's something just to be aware of, that a guy who's watching, he could have watched night after night, and saw the girls go in, and he could have checked the door one night and it didn't open. He was like, okay, this needs a code. I can't do that. He sees the girls leave the door open. This is the night he goes and strikes. Is this possible? Yeah, it's an avenue that they're going to have to investigate. Is there some crazy serial killer / mass murderer type guy out there who just wants to be some creepy guy, who's going to break in and go through the house and find the girls wherever they are, and then ran into Ethan and said, crap, there's a guy here, but what the heck, got to take him out too. And so he gets taken out.
But what about the two girls?
For me, again, that's interesting. If he, that he would go through the whole house and do this.
I want to hear her thoughts.
Again, I don't see necessarily good proof of that this is how this guy would work. I'm also looking at the layout of the house. Let me throw the layout of the house here. Okay, so the layout of the house is a little weird. So here's where you come in. This is that entrance to the kitchen. And in the downstairs area, there's supposedly this bedroom here, but that's not where the couple was. So you actually have to go up here, and I'm quoting from what I've heard. You have to go through the laundry room to enter the bedroom, which is kind of strange. It's like, how would you even know there's a bedroom back here? I'm not even sure. And as far as going upstairs, it's weird because you can't see a staircase here, but I believe it's around the foyer area here. And so somehow you go up the stairs, and then you've got the choice of the two girls. So one of the questions would be, did somebody target the entire house, or did somebody target who's ever in the house? Here would be my theory on that. If the girl here, that would be Xana, was targeted, there would be no reason to go upstairs and kill the other two. That just doesn't make sense to me. So let's say we'll go back to Stalker Guy. He comes in here, he wants Xana. He goes there, oh my God, she's with her boyfriend. He has to kill both of them. Fine, he's all right with that. But at that point, he's also a little shook because he wasn't planning to run into the boyfriend. And what you do then is you come right back out here and you go out the door. You run away. You do not have any reason to go up there and kill these girls at all. So that, I find it hard to believe these girls will be killed by somebody stalking Xana. Now, if the guy was stalking the two girls up here, that makes more sense. He could have come in. If he didn't know where they were, he's looking for them, and he runs into these and they kills them, but he still wants to kill these. So then he makes his way upstairs and finds them and kills them. Possible. I'm not overly excited about that theory, but it's possible. Or if the guy did actually know the layout of the house prior to that, then he would know he could come in here and see. Now you wonder why he ran into them. If he just wanted the girls, he could just come in here and go straight up the stairs and kill the girls, and then go straight down the stairs and get out. So that's interesting. Again, why are these two getting killed? And if these two are the targets, or this girl's a target, why are these two getting killed? If these two are the target, why is anybody here getting killed? This is a conundrum. And one of the problems is that we don't know exactly where the bodies were found. Now, supposedly, they were asleep and there were defense wounds. I don't know that that's 100% true. I don't know whether somebody actually got up and heard noise and started moving, and the killer ran into somebody or heard them and went in and got them because they heard noise from a particular location. I don't know if one of these groups heard screaming, and so whoever heard the screaming woke up and started to move around and attracted the killer's attention. I don't know, because I don't know where the bodies were found. I don't know what the blood spatter patterns were. I don't know. If I could see that, I could tell you who was killed first, second, third, and fourth. I could tell you a lot about the behaviors of the killer, but I don't have any access to that. So I don't know exactly what happened in that house. The police do. So they're ahead of me on that. And they may have a pretty good clue where they're going, or where their top avenue of investigation is, and what they're going to put more effort into, or who even their top suspect might be, or top person of interest. So now let me go on to the boyfriend, Jack. All right. So this is Kaylee's boyfriend, Jack. Now, interesting.
I really hope she mentions the two girls, because I want to hear her insight on that. But yet she's not talking about them. Why were they spared?
When this first came,
the bedrooms were hidden, though, kind of. One of them, you had it going through the laundry room, and it was hidden.
But if you were stalking the other two, but if you were the stalking one, like she was saying, maybe stalking them, or and then going up and killing them, how do you know that the two downstairs wouldn't have woken up? Like, something is so effing weird.
Because the man said, if they were in Zaina's room and no one was sleeping in the bedroom underneath them, you couldn't hear anything. But if someone when after Zaina and then Ethan was there, so he got both of them, and then the two girls went into that room, and he could have just, took them out as they walked in or ran into the room, and then that's why there's so much blood there.
But how do
Right
the
at the
two
corner where
girls?
it's sleeping.
But how do the two girls? Well, they could have had earbuds in, like people say, but it's just, it's so bizarre. I don't think it was a stalker, because I think if it was a stalker after the blondes, I think more would have happened. But that's my
So
opinion.
much, yeah, so many theories out there.
Hmm.
We're probably going to
Came
be
out.
shocked again.
Right? I think we're going to be shocked.
Different kinds of news. What we heard was some interesting things which caught my attention, I must say. What caught my attention was this. At 2:26 a.m., Kaylee starts to call Jack. That's what, I guess this is her mother, Olivia Gonzalez, told Inside Edition, which described Jack as a young man. I think he's 26. I think Kaylee's 21. Don't quote me on that. Kaylee calls Jack 6 times between 2:26 and 2:44 a.m. From 2:44 to 2:52, Maddie calls Jack 3 times. So both of these girls are awake. And I would say they might be together at this point in time. Then Kaylee makes a final call to him at 2:52. So for over 30 minutes, they're trying desperately to.
And remember that they're saying that they believe this happened between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
Get hold of
A
Jack.
neighbor
Now
said that the dog, go ahead. A neighbor said the dog was barking between 2 and 3 for about an hour.
Well, that would make sense with these text messages.
That is a red flag to me. Why is this? Well, oftentimes when
Be
some
right back.
horrible
I'm gonna
incident
grab
occurs,
a
you look
water.
at what something different that happened prior to that incident. Whether it's a breakup with a boyfriend, whether there's a drug deal going on, or whether what is going on in that person's life that something may have changed that's abnormal. Well, that was weird. I looked at that and said, right before these girls get killed, I mean, almost right before, they're calling Jack, both of them. Why? And now the mother explained, I believe it was the mom who explained, and some friends, they were probably just drunk and calling. Okay, drunk and calling. Okay, so you have been out, you're drinking, you're pretty trashed. You come in and you're like, let's call Jack. Even though you should be asleep. Why would you call him at that time in the morning? But hey, they're kids, you know what I mean? Maybe they're like, I want to call him honey, even though they were not actually together at the time. He was an ex-boyfriend. And then the parents say some interesting things about how, they're going to get back together again. I'll talk about that in a second. But she might have thought, I want to call him because he's like, he's still, my guy, I'm going to call him. And then the other girl's like, he's been my friend forever. So let's just call him. Let's call him. But that's a lot of calling, And here's what I don't understand. Did they leave a message? But a lot of people these days, when they call, they don't leave messages. But usually they text. Were there any texts to Jack? Why were they calling? Hi, we had fun tonight. What you been doing? Would be fairly meaningless. If they're calling for some other reason, that would be interesting. Would the police have the text? I would believe so. So the police should know if there was any communication that gave them a hint of what these calls were about.
Oh, they know.
Clearly, Jack did not answer the calls. There was a claim he was asleep at the time, and I guess he shut the phone off and didn't answer. And we would have to look at behavior. Is this common for him to shut his phone off at night? Like, I don't know where he works. Maybe he shuts it off at night because he doesn't want to be disturbed by drunken girls. He turns it off so I can go to work in the morning and I don't have to be woken up because you girls are in college and I'm not, and he knows how girls are. That's perfectly legitimate. And this is what the police would find out in interviews that I have no access to. They would be interviewing everyone to find out what his behaviors were as far as answering the phones go. Now, the parents say something else kind of interesting. We are supporting him, and we know in our hearts and in our minds and in our souls and in the depth of our soul, Jack is hurting, she continued. Kaylee and Jack would have eventually been married. They would have eventually been married, and they would have eventually had children. Christy explained, Kaylee and Jack had been dating for years, and the pair were on track to get back together again after spending some time apart. Okay. I don't know how you're getting back together again after spending some time apart. Like the parents are saying, this is on track. Something went off the tracks. There was some reason they broke up and took time apart. When people take time apart, and if you've ever...
I honestly do not think Jack is involved. I do not think Jack would have went after Dylan. I don't think Jack had anything to do with it, but that's my opinion.
Watch the Friends stuff. You know what happened with Rachel there, and got his name now. Shoot. Yeah, him. Rachel's boyfriend. And they took their time apart. He had a girl one night, had sex with a girl, and then Rachel didn't forgive him, right? So, that's what happens. And who were they seeing when they were apart? Were there issues over this? And were they really getting back together again? The parents have a very glowing review. Oh my God, they would have eventually got married and they'd eventually have children. And they're on track. I mean, is that just parents wishful thinking? Do they really like this guy? And just like, hey, we've always liked him, and you'd be a great couple, and we don't want you getting somebody new. He's always been part of our lives. He's already our son-in-law. Hey, marry the dude. And then they also say this, which I find interesting. We're supporting him, and we know in our hearts and minds and souls he's hurting. Okay. They also said they were 100%, 200% behind him, and believed that the police were wasting their time investigating him. Now, there was something that came out a little while back that he was in Boise, like 5 hours away, and couldn't have committed the crime. And then now it seems to turn out that wasn't Jack, but it was a guy named Jake. This is the kind of gossipy thing you get, and you don't know where the truth is, which is why you have to be careful when you listen to anything on the internet or read anything in the news, even from the national news media. Half the time they're wrong too. So, as far as I can see, if Jack was, I'm going to say,
good question, Annie. I have no idea.
This, even if he were in Boise 5 hours away, that doesn't mean he couldn't have committed the crime. Now, why, you ask, is, but he's away 5 hours away.
Bernadette.
Hey, he wouldn't be the first person who drove 5 hours into town, committed a crime, and drove 5 hours back, and that's his alibi. And he just leaves his phone in Boise, and then, he doesn't answer it when the girls call, and the phone isn't tracked to there. Now, of course, you have the problem of your car being seen on the highway, and that's what the police will be looking for, to see if you were in movement. That kind of stuff. Check your gas tank, how much, if you put gas in your car, all of that. Who might have seen you where? I don't know that he was out of town, because if the police were investigating him, and the parents of Kaylee are saying, we believe 100, 200%, we're behind him 200%, we don't think he did this. If he absolutely couldn't have done it, if he had an alibi that was airtight, they wouldn't have to say that. They go, well, of course he didn't do it. He's got an alibi, for God's sakes, he couldn't have done it. Even if he didn't like him, he couldn't have done it. But I don't have any evidence that he couldn't have done it. And when the police say people have been cleared, they don't have to be telling the truth. I don't know. I did read someplace. I thought somebody said somewhere it said the police had cleared him, but I don't know if that's true. So you're only absolutely 100% cleared if you have a rock solid alibi, or the DNA at the scene matches somebody else completely different, and you know who the other guy is. Then you're cleared. All right. So should Jack be a suspect? Yeah.
No.
And in my opinion, unless they have some evidence that says he isn't, would he be a good person of interest? Yes, and a top person of interest. Why is this? All right. Here's the reason. One is, it appears somebody knew the inside of the house and maybe knew the code on the door. That would be a person like Jack. He's been in the house before. He probably does know the code to the door. He knows who's in the house. He knows a lot about their behaviors. He knows where everybody sleeps. He's got that one down. So that would be one good reason. Number two, they were broken up and supposedly getting back together, but were they? Or were there still issues outstanding? That would be number two. So he would be, an ex is always a person of interest. Number three, why all the phone calls to him?
To me, it looks like Jack wouldn't be able to get himself out of a paper bag. I just don't see him killing Dylan and Zaina because he's going to go kill his ex-girlfriend who he's probably in love with. I don't feel it was Jack.
He's not very muscular, but he might have good skills, like knife skills.
I'm just not feeling it was Jack at all.
I understand what she means, though, because, she's naming the reasons that she feels that. And
absolutely.
Yeah, but
I agree with her.
She's not even sure.
Yeah, I agree with her theory about because of where he was and everything she's saying, but I don't believe that Jack was involved. But yeah, wait till you see these moms' drug charges. I mean, yeah, and it was all going down when this was going down.
That time in the morning.
Wow.
Now, is it possible that He did contact them. This is what police know. Contact the girls earlier in the day, say some things that were concerning, that freaked them out, and they're calling back and, hey, Jack, what's your problem? Hey, Jack, answer the phone. Are you okay now? Are you okay with us now? I don't know. I don't know why they were calling him and whether there was some reason for them to be concerned about him, or were they just calling for the fun of it? I don't know which one. But if they were calling him because they were concerned, and then that would be another reason. Number 4, his phone was off.
King Scarlet.
That means that the phone wasn't tracked. So they could be calling him and he could have left the phone at home and be at the house, entering the house to kill them. So that's another reason. And the 5th reason, the dog. The dog wasn't killed. It's his dog. Calling him and he could have left the phone at home and be at the house.
Okay, let's think about what she just said for a second. If they were calling Jack between 2:36 or whatever the exact times were, and they were calling him because they were hearing loud noises in the house and they were scared of something at that time because it's pretty close to the time that the murders were supposedly going on. Why wouldn't they just have called 911? Maybe they were drunk and she was calling him, trying to get a hold of him, just wanting to talk. But then the question is, why was the phone used? Why did she use the other girl's phone? Because in my opinion to that was obviously maybe she thought maybe because they were in an argument, he would have answered her phone. But that's just my opinion. But I don't think at this point they would have known or scared, because you would definitely have thought they would have called 911. I mean, no?
Yeah, they could have been just, playing around on the phone and or maybe, any kind of joke, like say, hey, try to see if he's gonna fall for you if you hit on him. I want to see if he's loyal to me or something like that.
Well, true, but considering that these girls have been best friends, I think, since middle school, I don't think that's what it was. I think, how many times back in the day that did we come home and we might have been a little buzzed or something, and we've called an ex. I know I've done it.
Yeah, don't drink and dial. But now
And
it's
maybe
don't drink
she
and
thought
text.
by using the other phone that maybe he would have picked it up. That's
Yeah.
my theory on that.
If the dog was barking for a whole hour, maybe thinking that maybe someone was hiding in the house and the dog was barking, so she wanted him to come over and, calm the dog down.
Elisa Casada. Okay, so what about this theory though? So if those phone calls were going on at 2:36 or was it 3:36? Where they were calling Jack. So if that's the case, then we know that these two girls were together and at that time they were awake. So that means that if that was the case, that these two were not sleeping in bed and also coming back on the weekend and leaving the food truck together. I mean, these two girls, what I think is going to come out is that these two girls were in a room together hanging out, probably goofing around, maybe looking through social media, obviously trying to call Jack. But I believe that these two were together in one of their rooms or an open area to the house. Okay, let's go. We'll be here all night. But I took a 7-hour nap today and woke up at 10, so I'm good.
Entering the house to kill them. So that's another reason. And the 5th reason.
Here's the dog.
The dog. The dog wasn't killed. It's his dog. It's his dog, and the dog also knows him. So that's a way for somebody to go into the house. And, you wonder about this with a stalker or anybody else. They go into the house and the dog starts barking away. And, of course, we'd have to find out whether the dog was a barker or not. But, usually a stranger comes in, the dog starts barking, waking people up. And that's kind of, for somebody who doesn't know the house coming in.
Wait, I just almost gasped. Did she just say that the dog is Dylan's dog? So Dylan comes over and spends the night and brings his dog with him?
I
Because
didn't really catch that.
he said, listen, what did she says? She says that the dog is his dog.
So that's a way for somebody to go into the house. And, you wonder about this with a stalker or anybody else. They go into the house and the dog starts barking away. And of course, we'd have to find out whether the dog was a barker or not. But, usually a stranger comes in, the dog starts barking, waking people up. And that's kind of, for somebody who doesn't know the house coming in, that's like, whoa, that's a dog. You either kill the dog quick, get it out of the way, or maybe you run away. But the dog didn't know him. So he could probably pat the doggy on the head and be all right. And the dog wasn't killed. He has the dog now. The other thing, which one just wonders about, is why the other couple
spit. You know what? I never thought about it like that. The way she just broke down the dog.
Damn, I missed it again. Somebody was talking to
The
me.
dog was Jack's dog. Oh, well, that's just a little.
Yeah, that was Jack's dog.
So the dog was staying with her.
With her. So she was calling. The dog was barking for about an hour, someone said, and then they were calling him, and she left a text message. It's your dog too, or come get your dog, or something like that. Regarding the dog.
Yeah,
something
Maddie and Kaylee. So, I mean, because you can't imagine somebody walking in the house with that blade, the edged blade, and knowing that you're going to kill people.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
up close and
disrespect.
personal. But one sec. But you're that much of a psychopath, because if it was a stranger and the dog was doing that, I mean, it would take nothing to kill the dog, knowing that you're going to kill people. I mean, so this to me right here just made my little light bulb go,
And
That's-
my light bulb, no disrespect to any of the families or anyone, but what if they were having an orgy in one of the rooms, and then he walked in, or whoever walked in, and he's like, what the hell? Who's already going to try to get one of them.
I agree, David.
They were all together, and he took them all out not at the same time, but basically.
I agree, David. That kid does not look like someone who could kill 4 of his friends. And one girlfriend where the family's claiming that they're getting back together, because that's Jack with her in the background. I just don't think that this kid, I don't think Jack did it. But
you can't tell
me.
by looks, though. I know he looks like a weakling.
Yeah, I respect everyone's opinion, though. But if you guys feel it, I mean, at the end of the day, he could be a complete effing nutter butter, and he could have done it. But I just don't feel like he did it.
Was killed. So let me go back to that again, because if it wasn't somebody who's coming in to just
be right back,
commit mayhem in the house, you have to wonder why this couple was killed. Now, if you're a boyfriend and you know this house, you know exactly where these girls are. So what you're going to do is come in. You're going to go straight through there, and you're going to go right up here to the girls, and you're going to attack them there. Now, if there are defense wounds on the girls' hands, they were alive. I don't know who's got the defense wounds in this. Again, this is not a profile of the crime. This is me profiling what I know to show you how the police would look at it with certain amounts of information. If they were the ones with a lot of defense wounds, they were trying to save themselves. They may have said nothing. Sometimes when you're trying to prevent an attack, you're so freaked that you can't get anything out. Just like, on the other hand, sometimes they scream like a son of a gun. If these girls start screaming up here, by the time he kills them and gets down here, it is entirely possible that boyfriend over here wakes up and walks out to find out what the devil is going on. And he runs into Kaylee's boyfriend, Jack. Now, very possible he knows Jack. At that point, Jack has no choice. He can't just run out of the house. He would have to go in there and kill the 2 of them. And that would be the motive for those 2 to be murdered. And of course, you know, I don't know if anybody's body was found here or not, both asleep in bed. I don't know. That's a good question. If they're both still asleep in bed, unless he, you know, I would think anybody who did this would just run out the door unless there's some reason they had to interact over here. So somebody could have gotten up and started walking out and seeing the person and then run back into the room. And then they came after them, killed them on the bed. Doesn't mean they were asleep when they were killed. So I don't know, because I don't have the crime scene photos. I would love to know what order they were killed in. And that a lot of times you can tell from blood spatter pattern. And also when you kill somebody and you still have the knife in your hand and you're walking through the house, you will take the blood. Let's say you killed up here first. Let's say you're in bedroom 2 first. You stab somebody here, one of the girls, and then you walk here. The blood drops all the way into here, and then you stab somebody here, and then and now you see the blood coming this way, and then you see two types of blood going down the stairs, and so you can see how this works, or vice versa. If they were killed first, then you see this going this direction. So blood spatter pattern is very meaningful, and the blood of each person as it's identified as to which drops of blood are whose. That's very important for figuring out a lot of the motive of the crime. So. Am I saying Jack did it? No, I'm not. I'm trying to explain to you the different scenarios that the police will be looking at. They may have cleared him. They may have already found that he does have a solid alibi, that it's not him. So it isn't him. And that's why
the police said that Jack was cleared.
I'm just trying to explain why they would be looking at these 3 different scenarios. It would appear to me that I find it hard to believe the person didn't have some awareness of the house and the rooms that everyone was sleeping in. So I would tend to believe somebody knew the victims. And I just find it odd for a stalker to go in there and just kill 4 people when he's only really going to be focused on one. Let's say somebody was talking about the guy at the stand. Like there was a guy who was saying things that was they were kind of like not real positive about the girls. Like they were kind of insulting the girls. Like maybe that was one of those guys that's like, oh, those girls didn't pay attention to me, I'm going to go get those girls. And he followed them home and saw them go in the house. Maybe he saw the lights go on upstairs, possibly. Maybe not, you know. And then just waited till it got quiet and said, I'm going to go upstairs and get them. Is that possible? Yes, especially if they left the door open. There's no code. Could have happened. So what should the police look at? They should look at the stalker theory. They should look at the serial killer / mass murderer guy. And they should look at the boyfriend of Kaylee and anyone else who might have been very close to them for some reason, might have an interest in doing one of them in. But those are the avenues of investigation I believe the police are taking. And the more evidence they have, which they do, the more they can decide that one of these avenues is not worth investigating. When they can eliminate something completely, okay, that avenue's gone, we're now focusing down on this avenue or these 2 avenues. And they may be doing that. They may already be there. I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes. And so I can't see all of that. I don't believe the guy has to necessarily be enthralled with knives. A lot of people, especially, in Idaho, they do fishing, they do hunting. It's true. The FBI profiler, he's got a point. He might be familiar with a knife. But then again, some people just like a knife because they like to be ninja-like, and some people have a knife.
I disagree
with
that.
Or they have an idea of what they want to do, so they go out and buy a knife, and you can get a good solid knife for a reasonable price, even on Amazon. If you're going to kill somebody, you probably shouldn't go on Amazon. But you can go down to a knife store someplace and pick up a knife, especially in an area where there's a lot of
Mr. X,
fishing and
sleep
hunting
good.
going on. So you can get yourself a knife, and you don't even have to be good at using it if everybody is theoretically asleep. And if you're enraged, if you're angry, I mean, there are people who commit some really heinous crimes that have never committed a crime before. And they can commit incredibly brutal crimes when they've never committed a crime before. They can commit it brutally because of the anger. They can commit it brutally because they're psychopathic. They can commit it brutally because they freak out and then start stabbing like a son of a gun because they don't know what else to do, so they're just doing this stuff. It's really hard to say. And some people say, well, what about this guy? He's a pretty big guy. How is it, he got killed off? Well, I don't know. He was there, and maybe it was a necessity. Even when I talk about, let's say this, what's her name, Xana. Let's say Xana heard something. She came out of the room and then freaked out and ran back to the safety of his arms, but he's asleep, and the killer follows right in. Who is he going to kill first? He's going to kill the big guy first. And all it takes, and Danny Rowling did this very well. He just took the knife and stabbed him straight in the chest. I'm going to guarantee you, if you got a large knife in your chest, you'll fight that much after that. I don't care if you're an MMA fighter. You don't have much left in you when you get a knife through the heart. And then once you get the knife in the guy like that, then you turn on the girl and then you finish them off. I can even accomplish this. I'm a 67-year-old woman. I can do this. I guarantee you. You don't have to be a big guy. You don't have to be a hunter. You don't have to be any of these things. You just have to be
That's why it could be a female. 8 to
psychopathic,
10 pounds,
angry,
guys, of pressure
crazy,
to get that knife
a combination
into
of
the
those
organ.
things, and you can commit a crime like this. So is the community in danger? Yes, I believe the community is still in danger because this
Me
person is
too.
out there, and who knows how desperate they are.
Yes,
so
I can,
I would say
Annie.
you never know. If this was a serial killer type guy, even though nobody was raped, so it seems kind of unlikely. But if he just likes going in and killing people for the fun of it, well, you might want to do what Danny Rolling did. Danny Rolling terrorized Gainesville because he committed. It was. Wait a minute, I'm trying to think now. I think it was three different breaking and enterings and rapes and murders. And so everybody was terrified. And even the last girl that was killed, when he got to her home, she's like, "You're the guy, aren't you?" And she knew the guy was out there. And then she saw him. She said, "You're the guy, aren't you? And you're going to kill me." And he said, "Yeah, that's what I'm going to do." So, yes, I think the community, there is a danger. Now, the police kept saying there wasn't. I think that's because they do believe their top choice, I believe, is that this is somebody the girls knew. And therefore, it's a personal crime as opposed to being just a crazy serial killer or a crazy stalker. Although if it's a crazy stalker, he already got whom he wanted, so maybe he doesn't need to kill again. So, but these things, nothing's ever written in stone. These are all what you do when you're investigating. You come up with ideas and you work on those ideas until you get enough evidence to find out which one of those ideas is correct. And you don't. It's not magic. It's a lot of hard work. It just the point of profiling and crime scene analysis is to help you look for more evidence and go in the right direction. And I wish people would understand that and stop thinking it's some kind of brilliant. I'm a god of profiling, and one could just look at the scene and just know. You can get 20 different pieces of information about the person, and then when you catch that person, they're going to be exactly like your profile. That's nonsense. It doesn't work that way. Some people would like you to believe that, but it really doesn't work that way. So it is a technique. Profiling is a technique and a tool to be used in the process of investigation. And this is an educational channel, and I hope that what I've taught you tonight is educational and not about let's all be armchair profilers now and figure out who did this crime. No, let's leave that to the police from here on out. They're doing the work. Let them do the work. But I just wanted to give you an idea of how they might be looking, why they might.
Smart lady.
Brilliant.
But that's what we've been doing, though.
I honestly feel, my gosh, what if it is a girl that is just completely jealous of those four?
Yes.
I have so many tabs open. Can somebody just drop me the address quickly? I know it's like 1166. I can't, Moscow, but I can't think of the street name right now, and I'll pull that up real quick. But
1122 King.
Yeah, I wanted to show you these little creepers real quick that were the three pedos that lived in the area. I was going to show you the pictures. And another interesting fact that they're talking about is chloroform. But 1 second. Got so many damn tabs open.
I never thought of that.
So they've been cleared though, but these were the predators. Let me make this bigger. Get their names. So we've got Nathan Warren, Lacey, Kanan Tyler, Zachow, and Stephen Cole Hoffman live within walking distance of the slain students. Okay. So what, I'm going to say a bad word, guys. What in the entire fuck is wrong with that whole entire situation? Why would sexual predators even be allowed to live walking distance to a university? Am I missing something?
Because they're not underage.
I don't give a shit if it's an old man living in a nursing home. He shouldn't be on the same floor as the ladies that are in the nursing home. How do you have? Wait a second. Let me show these faces again. I might have closed them because they're so freaking scary looking.
A lot of
Yeah.
pedophiles are in a nursing home. The ones that can't be in jail, they're very elderly. They are in a nursing home. And on
Why?
Halloween,
No,
I know
that
what you.
should there. Listen, when you are a sexual offender, you are not even allowed to be near 200 feet. What from a school? No, I'm sorry, but I can't
Yeah.
believe I just I read that. Why on God's earth would that even be allowed? Oh, look at they're showing the other girl's face. Let me save this real quick.
Yeah, they're in the patio.
Do you think that we need to do something about that? Like we should make a phone call like
About what, the pedos?
oh God, Jen says that her next door neighbor is a RSO. Yeah. I agree, Doug. I know they didn't live on campus, Bernadette, but they lived right across the street. I just don't think that pedophiles should even live around a college campus. But that's just my opinion. So, this was out yesterday. Did the killer use chloroform? Internet sleuths have theory on how roommates slept through Idaho murders. But I don't know. Because when you look at the text messages that they were texting to Jack and the murders happened between 3 and 4, I don't think the blondes were sleeping in bed. I don't think they were sleeping. Kaylee and Madison. Many
No, look like
users.
they were enjoying themselves. They were still enjoying themselves. They were caught off guard, or they had just dozed off, maybe.
I mean, one victim had the defensive wounds. Was that Kaylee or Madison? I get the two confused. I think it was Kaylee.
I'm not sure, but
Hey,
the family
Salvatore.
member said that she was real athletic. So I think it was. I'm not sure.
Well, one of them had defensive wounds. Getting 50 calls a day. All right, let's go to Reddit, guys. Let's go see what Mama's a bad girl. Okay. So, and Kat, it's on this the last video we did. The Kaz pulled it up. So, according to this is 2 days ago. I'm going to say it wrong. Kenai Sheriff's Office Department in Idaho submitted a warrant for Xana's mom for possession of class 1 and 2 drugs. Fentanyl is class 2. In Arizona was a massive drug bust in which 700,000 fentanyl pills were confiscated. What exactly is your theory? The police in Arizona busted her, confiscated the pills, but then allowed her to walk free and to go to Idaho without charging. Once in Idaho, the Arizona Police Department got in touch with the Kootenai Department and they charged her of the much less serious crime of drug possession. There is no logical connection here. This is not even circumstantial evidence. The circumstances are completely different. So she was arrested. I'll pull up her sheet in a minute, but I want to go look at these other things on Reddit real quick. And then I'm going to pull up the see who owns the house. Chisme, you can talk. I'm looking for something. Okay, here it is. Okay. Let me look at chat. I don't see chat when I'm on another window. You know what? Do you remember over that? I'll see if I can pull mom's up record, but I'm not gonna do that tonight because it's getting kind of late. But this post,
Everyone, I have to get going.
all right,
Thank you
girl.
for. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Thanks for coming up.
Happy holidays. You're welcome. Take care. Bye bye.
I love her. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to see chat, guys, but she says, anyone else see this odd Instagram account? I was looking through some of the comments on the victims' Instagram accounts and saw a few ugly ones laughing about the situation. What was first weird was all that of the troll accounts, public ones at least, had one photo in common. A screenshot posted on March 6th of the TikTok icon with a caption asking if anyone knows how to hack into a TikTok account to let them know. Anyway, this one particular account with the username Sarah, and we spoke about her last night, 184, had posts dating back to May 13th and May 14th talking about how their cousin wanted to make a movie called Killing the Clones, starring the two girls who looked very similar to Kaylee and Madison, is who I'm assuming. I am not comfortable posting pictures of them without their consent, but they are still up on the profile to one another. I by no means saying that Kaylee and Maddie look like clones, but they undeniably share quite a few similarities. And then they go into that Jack Franklin account. Let me see right here. And we looked last night. Those counts are gone, except for the Mosker Slayer. But that seemed to have nothing to do with it. Let me see one more thing. 1 second. All right, let me look at chat real quick. Hey, Leslie. Okay, let's see this. Let's see what's going on. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Leslie. I don't know. I mean, were the two girls, did they not know about the two girls in the bottom room? Was one targeted, but like Pat Brown said, why go after the rest? I mean, there was no essay from what they're saying. I mean, could it possibly be a female that was so jealous of the two girls or even the three girls, knowing that they were such a tight knit group? Right? Like, let's see if there's anything new on Twitter. And then I'm going to have to wrap it up, guys. But wait a second. Can you drop the address one more time? Hi, Gail. So I can pull that report real quick on the house. Yeah, that's pretty scary that 3 pedophiles live walking distance to the house. Hey, Gail. Thank you, Gerard. 112 King Road. Let me go and get this real quick. All right, let's see. Here we go. Hmm. And it comes up one. Let me see. One sec. Hey, Justice Jane. All right, one sec, guys. One sec. See, I pulled it up on 2 sites and it's not coming up. Let me go ahead and search one of these girls and see if we can pull it up like that. Let me search Azana. I mean, I cannot believe her mother, 700,000 fentanyl pills. I mean, that's enough to kill a university. All the students in it. Were they, do you think that maybe one of them were selling meth? They don't look like they were. They were great students. Very strange. Okay, here we go. I think I found it. All right, here it is, guys. Whew, I had to go onto the fourth site. Okay, let me share my screen. Do you guys think that they're going to make an arrest soon? Can anyone provide proof they didn't pay? They didn't pay what? Oh, the Uber driver. So someone is putting out the rumor that why wouldn't they pay the Uber driver? Did the Uber driver come out and talk about it? Gosh, I wish I didn't work 12 hours a day or I can't be on social media. Oh, pay for the food. I thought they were paying the food when they're standing there and the one on the I can't even tell which girl is which in the video, to be honest with you. Which one is Kaylee and which one is Madison? So did the food truck guy come out and say they did not pay for the food, or is it just a rumor? Okay, so I can go ahead and figure out who owns this LLC real quick. It's owned by an LLC. And there's a patent flash, but you got to really shift through the BS on this. We'll have to go with the LLC and see who runs this LLC real quick. Let's see who runs this LLC. Okay, so the LLC is run by, let's find out together. All right. Active existing status, incorporation date 2017. It's branched of 1-1. So they own a couple of those houses. Let's open that up and just check it out. Team agent name is the Team Idaho Real Estate Incorporation, Main Street in Moscow. So this is the agent that runs it. Team Idaho Real Estate. You need to be logged in. So that's who owns it. Team Idaho Real Estate Incorporated. And let's go see who owns this place. I can't see chat, guys. I'm sorry. Do they got a website? Okay, so it's a property management owner. I bet you that building's no longer going to be available. I think they're going to probably have to I think they're going to have to demolish it. 3082 Moscow, 415-415-204. That's funny too, because maybe they took it off, but we do know that there was a 6-bedroom that was not part of the situation. It's devoted. Yeah, it's a big company. Yep. So that's who owns the house. Who is going to come up here for a little bit after I go after this Twitter feed and tell me about the Shanquella case? Jennifer Cooley, you still here? Anybody want to come up and fill me in? Let's go look at Twitter real quick in case. I want to show you guys something on Twitter that I found interesting. Let me refresh because like I said, I came home from work today. I got up at like 6:40, had to go to the barn, take care of my friend's horses. It was like, I don't know, 11 degrees outside. Then I had to go to work at the shop, cut hair all day. And then I literally got off work at about 5, came home, took care of the farm, laid down, and woke up at 10:30. Thank God I'm off tomorrow because I'm going to be up all night. I'm going to drop a link. Oh, don't be shy, people. This is the laid back place on YouTube. Nobody fights, everyone gets along. Okay, let's see what's new. Let me reload it one more time. Okay. 40 seconds ago, gun control has no meaning. 2 London teens stabbed to death as stabbing rush sweeps through in Greenwich, England. 14 minutes, Idaho student murder update. Police say I think that's the same guy with, yeah, we saw him, the guy wearing the suit earlier. Okay, is this the one? Let me see one thing. So, I saw some weird messages. Former FBI profiler thinks University of Idaho killer is young. The murderer who ruthlessly slaughtered 4 students is likely a younger man and a first-time killer. Wait, let me see if this guy's got an interview where he talks. Frat bro fetish. What's a fat bro fetish? Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, here's this weird post I was talking about earlier about another sorority kid. Okay, this one. Another fraternity brother, Kyle Frey, charged Ethan via Venmo on November 3rd. Xana and Ethan both paid him on October 8th. Here is the real kicker. Check out his Pinterest. Has a board called Awesome Knives. And look at these pictures. That just takes me back to the theory. What if Xana was involved somehow in 700,000 fentanyl pills? Right? I mean, that could definitely explain no SA, but why would you take care of the other 2 girls unless because they were awake a little bit before this, trying to text Jack, probably buzzed a little bit. Maybe when he came in, those were the 2 that he had to take care of first. And then maybe they were sleeping in the bedroom. But how wouldn't they hear? It's all just so speculated. Oh. Kyle Frey. We'll look into him on the next live, see whatever pops on him. Xana Coronado paid Kyle Frey. Thank you. Ethan Chapin paid Kyle Frey. Huh. That is weird. And I think there was a couple more weird little messages like that. Let me see. That might have been the only one. I thought that was strange. I wonder who Kyle Frey is. It was something about. This might be it. Okay. This one says something about maybe related murders. I believe it is, and backs up other public evidence which has been widely misinterpreted. Incident address, Taylor Ave. Time 301. Officer requested and report taken. Banfield in blue rectangles, Sigchi in purple circles. Huh. And there's more, and it was right around here that I saw it. One sec. Who is this? Have we seen this one?
It has been more than a week since 4 University of Idaho students were found stabbed to death in a home near campus, and police have not identified who killed them.
Nope, this
3
is
of
some.
the victims
Wait,
lived at the house.
wait. Can you guys hear that? I'm looking for Kyle Frey, guys, as this video is playing. I wish I knew Raul, but I'm gonna go see if I can find him on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or something. I'm gonna search for him. I do, Annie. It's in my homepage. There's a little icon on the back picture. I have not seen this one yet, guys. Can you hear the video? Before I continue? Thank you, Jen. Can you guys hear this? Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen this lady before. And I'm going to go use the little girl's room, guys. I'll be right back. 7 minutes.
Where the attack occurred, the fourth was there visiting his girlfriend. Police believe they were targeted. With us now is retired agent and former FBI profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole. She's the director of George Mason University's Forensic Science Program. Mary Ellen, it's great to talk to you again, although sadly, tragically, we're always talking to you when something horrific has happened. So when you look at this story, Mary Ellen, what sticks out to you about this case and what investigators are looking for?
Well, there are a couple of things that really stand out to me. And I know investigators said that the victims were targeted, and that's a behavioral term that has a lot of meaning to me. So the question is, how are they making that determination? And were they all equally targeted? And the way that assessment has to be made is to see if any of the victims were treated differently in that crime scene. In other words, if one victim received more injuries or was treated differently after the stabbing occurred. And that usually tells you that that person could have been the focus of the attack. And then secondly, this offender had to leave a lot of evidence at that crime scene. He was not evidence conscious, and so there will be forensic evidence. For example, it's likely that the offender cut themselves with the knife. After you stab that many times, your hand goes down on the blade and you cut yourself and you leave blood there, and that's DNA evidence. And so that evidence is going to be extremely important. And then finally, just based on going inside somebody else's home in the middle of the night with other people there to commit a quadruple homicide suggests to me that that person has likely been in that home prior to this attack, and that this individual, this offender, has prior experience being in other people's homes.
I wonder about the time frame here. Are there any gaps in the timeline from when the victims were last seen and when they were found dead?
It does seem that there's some gaps because, and that information may not ever be able to be filled in because the victims themselves would be the ones to tell you, we got home at this time and then we went to bed at that time. So I don't know that that will ever be completed, but the question remains, at what point did the offender get inside that house? And were all the victims, they were in their beds is what it sounds like, but were they all asleep? If they were not all equally asleep in a deep sleep, that could also explain some of the defensive injuries on several of the victims, although that's not been clarified. So that timeline is getting narrower and narrower, but I'm not sure it will ever be pinned down 100%.
Mary Ellen, the murder weapon, what kind of murder weapon, what are you hearing about what could have been used? I just keep thinking that it's such a brutal attack to use an object to murder, 4 people. I'm trying to understand. It's just impossible to understand because doesn't it strike you, Mary Ellen, and you're the expert here, that this would be of an extreme personal nature to use a weapon like that, an object like that to murder 4 people, as opposed to a gun, which we've covered these mass shootings, and oftentimes the perpetrators don't know any of the victims, at least in the last couple of weeks, the ones that we've been reporting on. What does that tell you?
Well, when an offender uses a knife, they have to get close up and personal with the victim. And that means that they can see their face, they interact with them, especially if the victim is fighting back, and they see the victim slowly losing their life. Here's what I'd also say about this knife. It had to be a pretty sturdy knife because it survived the stabbing of 4 people multiple times. Now, the medical examiner who performed the autopsy, they traditionally don't say, well, the weapon used here was exactly this. They can tell you elements of the instrument, but in my experience, they don't traditionally say it is exactly this, especially if you're dealing with a sharp-bladed instrument. But I'd also say that this offender, even though sloppy in the crime scene, leaving so much evidence, he was very efficient with this knife. He was able to complete 4 homicides and then leave the scene. That tells me this person has experience with that knife, a very effective cutting instrument, and that whether or not he would then or she would then throw that instrument away in the woods someplace is doubtful to me, because this is an instrument that's important to that offender. And I do think, based on the efficiency of those homicides, that the knife has been used before, not necessarily in another murder, but that the offender has used it before in other instances.
It's absolutely chilling, Mary Ellen, to hear you talk.
Oh, she said she too. I think, oh my goodness. I'm telling you, hey, Liz Hernandez, what if it is a girl? What if this does have something to do with 700,000 fentanyl pills?
Talk about that and efficiency when we're talking about the taking of human lives. Based on what we know so far, what type of person or potentially group of people is most likely to commit an act like?
Based on what I know so far, and again, that's coming from the media, this kind of violence is indicative of what we call instrumental violence, which is different from the traditional violence called reactive violence. Reactive violence is if I punch you in the nose and you punch me back, that's reactive violence. But this instrumental violence is violence that is cold-blooded, it's predatory, and it's very callous type of violence perpetrated frequently on strangers. And this type of violence is oftentimes the kind of violence that we seek used by people that are psychopathic. The old-fashioned term was sociopath. But psychopathic individuals, not mentally ill, so I want to make that clear right away, but they are people who are profoundly lacking in empathy and guilt for their behavior. And when they do commit crimes, their crimes have a very high-risk element to it because they enjoy the thrill of whatever if it's killing people, they enjoy having it be even more high risk than it needs to be. And this was a very high risk crime. When you go into somebody's home in the middle of the night and kill them, that's very high risk.
Do you believe that there's a threat to the community
I do. Yes, I do. And I'll
Yes,
tell
I
you
do.
why I think that. If somebody has the capability of doing this, these wounds going into that home, these injuries, these wounds were not an effort to scare the victims or to threaten the victims. They were intended to kill the victims. And if an offender has this capability, even though maybe one or two of the victims were targeted and the others were not, but were still killed, this offender, because of that behavior, that high risk impulsive type of behavior, is capable of repeating it again in the right set of circumstances. So based on that, I would say that this is he or she or they are at high risk for reoffending.
So deeply disturbing to hear your assessment, but important, right? In the absence of any additional public information at this point as people try to understand what happened there. Mary Ellen O'Toole, Mary Ellen, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
That is very interesting. Yeah, she's sleeping behind the couch right now. She'll probably pop out. But I mean, look at the call timeline real quick on this. I think I found Kyle's Instagram. Okay. Okay. Okay, 1:49. Uber arrived to pick up Kaylee and Maddie, per Kaylee's mom and sister. I bet this was made by Legacy. Ethan and Xana arrive at the residence. Okay, we got the Uber. Kaylee and Maddie arrived home, 1:56 from her mom and sister. Finally confirmed by law enforcement on 11:25. 2 a.m., neighbor Dakota Sparks, he and his partner Heather, goes to bed and hasn't heard anything at all or seen anyone. 2:26, Kaylee's first call to Jack. And it seems like it's all 2:26 back to back. 2:44 a.m., Kaylee's sixth call to Jack. 2:44 a.m., Maddie's first call to Jack. Again, Maddie calls Jack. 2:52 a.m., Maddie tries Jack. 2:52, Kayla's seventh and final call to Jack. Between 3 a.m. and 4 was the time of death of all victims. So to me, I'm thinking that they were together and awake, maybe upstairs in the empty bedroom. I don't know where they were. No, this guy is at F. This Kyle. Oh, it's F. Let me see something. He spelled his name Fries. Let me see. I found one at FSU. See if we can find one in Idaho. I'm looking, one sec. Nope. One sec. What is this? Well, that's nice. What this is, geez, my gosh. The next live, guys, we're gonna look into her mom and this kid that she was talking about. I have to go back and see if did I get the name right? Is it Kyle Freese? Frei, but the first name's Kyle, right? Look at this. Incompetent Idaho cops likely obliterated crucial evidence and have botched investigation in student's murder, says source connected to the investigation as cops expand search area near crime scene. Measuring tire. The source's comments cops were seen on Monday measuring tire tracks at the crime scene, a full 6 days after victims were discovered. The source said cops should have attended to that evidence on the first day of the investigation and likely compromised evidence too. Also on Monday, officers appeared to expand their search area by corridoring off a section of woods behind the house as they searched for the murder weapon. Let's see. Okay, so we will definitely keep on top of the Idaho 4 because I'm just completely blown away. But is this the girl that everyone is talking about? I have not followed this case. But I'm going to wrap it up after this quick video. Maybe I'll look into it. Wait a second.
5-year-old Shanquella Robinson, who died while on a trip to Mexico with friends last month. Her parents say her friends told them she died from alcohol poisoning, but an autopsy report is painting a completely different picture. Robinson's mother joined the stream earlier today. Here's a bit of what she said.
I didn't believe any stories, so after we received the autopsy on Thursday evening, and the autopsy told us what had actually happened to her. And so that took it to a whole nother level because, they're saying that it was alcohol, and alcohol was not the cause of her death.
CBS News national correspondent Jerika Duncan is closely following this story and joins me in Studio 57 now with more. Jerika, this is so disturbing on so many levels, so many open questions at this point. First of all, what do we know about what happened to Shanquella Robinson on this trip to Mexico?
We know that she went on a trip with friends and she didn't come home, for starters. There is a video out there, which we have not verified, but her mother said she watched it. She believes it's her daughter. And in the video, she is being beaten up by these alleged friends. She's naked. There's someone filming this incident and saying, at least fight for yourself. This is
What? Does anyone have this video? What? Naked and her friends are beating her up? Yep, there's 2 Jacks and a Jake. I've never seen the video. I'm not sure I can handle it, but my gosh.
Allegedly the best friend that her mother said she believes was there. It's a horrifying story. A number of people actually reached out to me and said, hey, why not do something on this woman? And I hadn't heard of it, to be completely honest with you, Elaine. And the more digging that I did, it was obvious that this did rise to a national level. You don't assume that when your daughter goes off on vacation with her friends, that they're going to end up dead. As to what exactly happened, those details still have yet to be sorted out. We know that the autopsy report said that she appeared to have died from a fractured neck or broken neck, fractured vertebrae.
Oh my
Initially, her
gosh.
mother told me that the friends who were there came to the house to give their condolences, said that they believed her daughter died from alcohol poisoning, but it was 2 days.
The girls that beat her up went to the house to tell the mom they were sorry. Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. I mean, my gosh.
2 days after that, that the mother got the autopsy report and realized there was no mention of alcohol poisoning.
So I just want to make sure I understand. Did the family know the friends that she was on this trip with?
Correct. And some of them came to the home after they returned from Cabo, Mexico. I also want to acknowledge that the mother told me they started receiving tips and clips of video of this fight that happened where their daughter is appearing to be defenseless, not fighting back. And they went to the Charlotte police. Well, the Charlotte police then took it to the FBI. The FBI has put out a statement there in Charlotte. They said the video was referred to the FBI, and we encourage anyone with related photos or video to contact the FBI. So they're involved. The State Department has released a comment on this because of where it happened in Mexico. And the Mexican authorities are also investigating this as a suspicious death. So that's where we are in terms of the investigation. Her mother also tells me that they're now planning a funeral as we sit here. She's preparing to bury her daughter, 25 years old, tomorrow on Saturday. And then a week of protest potentially. Why? Because they want someone to be held accountable. There's video, there are people in this video, and no one has been arrested.
I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what this mother is going through. How is she navigating all of this?
She said through prayer, and I can only imagine what that must be like, and the shock of it all.
Absolutely.
And the fact that the mom watched this video, I don't even want to look at the video.
No.
It's too much. I read what this video shows. I've seen still photos, but it's circulating on the internet. I mean, that's another conversation. How something like this, a woman getting beaten to the point where, again, she doesn't return home is just being constantly shared. It's disgusting.
Well, it is so disturbing. So many more answers yet to come on this, Jerika Duncan. I know you'll continue to cover this. Thanks so much, Jerika.
Thank you.
My gosh. Well, there is now. There's arrest warrants issued. Arrest warrants issued for a friend of woman found dead while on vacation. They declared it the death as a result as an attack, telling them that she had alcohol poisoning. Huh. Well, those are some good friends to go to Cabo with, right? Like, why do you think they maybe took her there just to do something? Let's go to look at her Twitter feed real quick, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I don't want to see the video. What is this? Is he talking?
No, I can't question God's plan, but He has a way. He has a way, and I'm telling you, I'm putting it all in His hands. I'm not worried about nothing.
I can't hear you, bud. You're too low. How sad. The arrest warrant. Oh. Mexico wants American extradited on charges in Torres death. Prosecutors in the state of Baja California sure did not name the suspect in the October 29th death of Shanquella Robinson. Oh shit, guys. They're going to bring her back to Mexico. Yeah, I don't think it was a smart idea to do what you did in Mexico, because I don't think you're going to really be staying in any nice accommodations over there. Oh, I couldn't even imagine. Could you imagine having to go into a jail in Mexico? I think it was planned too, but to think that you would go to Mexico and get away with it, but now they're asking for the extradition to bring her back. Let's just see if this is a video and play. I gotta go to bed. Oh, it is a video. Let's just share this last one. And then I am going to bed. But yeah, here's the knife. It's not the exact knife, but this is the type of knife they use. And remember what Johnny said, Law, that this little thing right here, that is supposed to keep your hand from slipping down the knife blade. And of course, we don't know what kind of edge it had on the blade, but look at that nasty little edge. That little serrated edge right there. But we do know that it had to have been at least a minimum of 8 inches long to penetrate past the skin, the muscle, the tissue, the bone. But yeah, that's a scary knife. I've never stabbed anything, but I do carry a knife in my car. If somebody came to my window, I'm not sure if I could stab them, but hopefully I would be able to if they were going to try to do something. Maybe like stab them in the finger. All right, last one, guys. She's beautiful.
Investigation into the mysterious death of a 25-year-old American tourist last month.
Justice? Justice?
Tonight, officials in Mexico issuing an arrest warrant related to the invasion into the mysterious death of a 25-year-old American tourist last month.
Justice? Justice will be served.
The news comes days after Shanquella Robinson's family and friends celebrated her life in North Carolina, where she's from.
She was just excited about going on her trip. And she sat on my chair. We just talked about a lot of personal stuff. Like, we just clicked like she was like my little sister.
For weeks, her family and friends demanding answers. The FBI and Attorney General's office in Mexico even opening separate investigations.
There cannot just be an unopened situation. It has to be closed with truth, and it has to be that there is accountability for those who are responsible
that's a
for her
beautiful
death.
casket.
At first, her family was told she had died of alcohol poisoning, but days later, an autopsy report painting a very different and brutal picture. Her family says Robinson and 6 others arrived in the popular Mexican city on October 28th for a vacation. Less than 24 hours later, she was dead. A video circulating on social media appears to show her being beaten in a hotel room. NBC News is not showing it because we cannot independently confirm its authenticity.
Everybody that have children, either it's a son or a father or a daughter or anything, it make you want to just get down on your knees and pray for this family and then pray for the protection over your own children.
FBI Charlotte told NBC the video was referred to its office, but declined to answer further questions about it. And now her death certificate highlighting that discrepancy. Her cause of death listed as severe spinal cord
Oh
injury
my
and
gosh.
atlas luxation, which is instability in the uppermost vertebrae. The document also says Robinson was found unconscious in her living room. Her death sparking outrage on social media after the video, which we have yet to verify, and the report became public using the hashtag Justice for Shanquella.
We have got to talk about the Shanquella Robinson case.
The Shanquella Robinson story is disgusting. Justice for Shanquella Robinson.
And Kyrie Irving even donating $65,000 to her
I
family's
love
GoFundMe page
Kyle Irving.
to help pay for her funeral costs.
I'm a basketball
Now,
junkie.
the Baja California Sur Attorney General's office says it obtained an arrest warrant against, quote, the likely person responsible for the events that caused Robinson's death, citing that it was, quote, a direct attack, not an accident. But for her community, she'll be remembered beyond her tragic death.
She was a very humble spirit, very sweet girl.
Stephen Romo joins us now. Stephen, only one arrest warrant has been issued in the death of Miss Robinson. What more do we know?
Yeah, and that leaves a lot of questions in this case. Of course, Shanquella was on this vacation with 6 other people. Mexican authorities are saying that one of her friends seems to be responsible, but they're not naming that person who's listed on this warrant. We know the FBI is looking into this as well. They have not commented on that Mexican warrant, also not yet saying if there could be other charges coming in this case.
My parents
All right. No, I'm here, guys. I had my dog screaming. Okay, there's a petition. My dogs were barking, so I think I probably had a bear or a deer in the front yard. I heard that when the doctors arrived to her, that she was still alive. Did you guys hear that? We know we got the arrest warrant. The only thing that's going to be hard, too, is the fact that it's going to be in Mexico. I saw something just a couple minutes ago where it said that when the doctors arrived, she was still alive. That's horrible. Wait a second. This is where I saw it. I'm confused. Is she transgender? Hi, Ranvel. And I'm not saying this disrespectful. Jennifer, let me drop Jennifer. You want to come up for a minute, Jennifer? Okay. Okay. So then it turns more. Wait. Wait a second. Wait. Let's go ahead and watch this. Because now, like I said, I'm probably going to be up all night. But now it's 14 minutes long. Let me see something. Let me share her link. I've never heard of this person. Ooh, Michael.
Yeah. And when you are, for instance, when we were
snapping her log. People, loved ones were put into the church by a horse-drawn carriage. Wow.
She was a very humble spirit, very sweet girl.
Shanquella Robinson's coffin brought into the church by a horse-drawn carriage. Her celebration of life services bringing out hundreds of people. Loved ones wore pink in her honor.
Emerging from a story that we first told you about last
Good
night
night,
at 10.
Dia.
A
Sleep
Charlotte
good.
family is searching right now for some answers. Mysterious death in Mexico.
Queen City News anchor Morgan Francis has been digging into this story. And Morgan, we understand that you got your hands on the death certificate today.
Yeah, Brian, I did. 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson died a day after she arrived in Cabo with her friends. The family says her friends told them she had alcohol poisoning.
Wait a second. I'm confused. So, do you want to come up, Gen B? Gen B, come up. Let's see if your mic is twitching. Lon, anyone wants to come up, come up. Anyone come up. Okay, so I'm confused then. So there was a trans that they believed the person that beat her up was transgender. Let's go ahead and find out.
But the death certificate I received today says nothing about alcohol.
I probably won't be at ease until someone's arrested.
Whether or not someone should be arrested in the death of 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson remains as uncertain as how she died. The woman, well known for her business braiding hair, turned up dead after just a day on vacation in Mexico. According to her family, Robinson's friends told them she was drunk.
They had a villa and they stayed there all night. They didn't go out at all. No one told the same story, so I never believed them anyway.
Queen City News obtained Robinson's death certificate, which lists the cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which is instability in the uppermost vertebrae. In the section where police could have noted any sign of intoxication, it says, person found unconscious on her living room.
And they didn't call us at the very last minute. And then on top of that, they say the maid found them.
The group stayed here at Villa Linda 32, a property listed on CaboVillas.com.
Beautiful.
A rep with company says the group called the concierge for help Saturday afternoon. The concierge called a doctor who gave CPR. Robinson died at 3 p.m., an estimated 15 minutes.
So when the doctor did show up at the hotel, unfortunately it was too late, but she was still, you know what? Absolutely.
After her injury. We obtained a list of 7 guests who signed into the villa and called the phone numbers they left with the company. Some numbers weren't valid.
Please leave your message for.
And others went to voicemail. So the death certificate has a section that reads, was it accidental or violent death? Yes was typed into that section, so it's still not clear which one authorities meant to select. The U.S. State Department told Queen City News that Mexican authorities say there's no clear evidence Robinson was murdered.
From the father's eyes and everything, and you know, she was the twinkle of his eye.
Robinson's death remains a mystery after a trip with friends in Cabo last month, but her death captured the hearts of communities beyond the Queen City.
It means a lot to see Charlotte supporting her and her family. I have a daughter. I have nieces. That child was amongst friends, and she should have been able to feel comfortable and feel safe.
Yo, what is up? What is up, gang? I couldn't even talk right there. What's good, my soul tribe? It's the Saints and the Aints. You are tuned into the Hood Spiritualist, and I am the one and only Bruja Honey Ray, coming at y'all with the receipts. And before we get all the way into the show, please pause my video right now. Look to your left, look to your right. If you have someone next to you, please hug them and tell them that they are loved. And if no one is present with you and it's just me and you, hug yourself very tightly and let yourself know you are loved and you love yourself with pride. All right? Now, on pause my video and let's view these.
Wait, I think they might.
We all know Shanquella was laid to rest this past.
I think she might be showing a picture of the fight. Hey, Gigi.
Now, I need y'all to pressure the FBI because they should have had the same energy they had with Gabby when they were about to cross over to Canada without permission. So I'm gonna need y'all to have the same energy y'all had with Gabby. Now, what we know is that she was alive when EMS arrived and doctors tried IV and CPR. But now, in all actuality, the autopsy says different, y'all. That Shanquella died 15 minutes right after her injuries. Robinson, being a native of Charlotte, she traveled to Cabo on October 28th. She died a day later.
Oh my
Information from
gosh.
the police report shows that at 2:13 p.m. on October 29th, medical help was summoned to the Villa Linda 32, a property ran by a company, Cabo Villas, located in San Jose del Cabo.
Jen, do you
They said the
have it?
suspicious of the friends claims that she died of alcohol poisoning when a Mexican autopsy report showed that her cause of death was severe.
What I'm hearing is that she went to Cabo with either 5 of them and it was 6 of them, or her and 6 of them, making 7. That's what I'm understanding. But Mexico is extraditing only one, and they're not telling us who that is, but maybe she will. Let me drop her link. I'll have to sub to her after I play the video. No, let me do it real quick so I don't forget. Oh, I can't. I'm not on YouTube.
Severe spinal cord injury and injury to the neck. Grave injuries to her back and neck were determined to be the cause of death after the autopsy of officials in Mexico. The police report says she also suffered cardiac arrest. Now, the police record that indicates Gutierrez found a female understood to be the report of Robinson with a stable vital signs, but
You guys
dehydrated,
think she was an
unable to communicate
OnlyFans
verbally, and
model?
appearing to be inebriated. The doctor reported that she believed Robinson needed to be transferred to the hospital, but her friends insisted that she be treated in the villa. So let me pause right
Beautiful.
there. Why are y'all insisting she be treated at the
Horses and
villa so
cows.
bad?
What
If the
a
doctor said transfer
tragedy.
her. And I also want to go in reference to the friend who came on live and said he wasn't there. He arrived at 3 o'clock.
Mm.
And he was helping Quilla. He was resuscitating her. But if you were helping Quilla out of the bed,
Mm. I just took a sip of iced tea too. Was that the guy that we were just listening to that we could barely hear? Jen, I can't get it from there, but will you come up real quick and just drop it in private chat? And then you can just jump down. Wait a second. Wait. The man, well, I'm going to finish this, but we're going to go back. The man that was talking, and I said to him I couldn't hear him, and I kept scrolling. I think he is the one that she is talking about right now. Oh, hey, Dee Dee Heritage. Come on up, Dee Dee. Whoever wants to come up. But let's finish watching this, and then I'm curious because if he is the guy, now I'm going to have to go back and listen to that video. But I think he is from what I understood. Okay.
there before the
You don't
doctor
have
got
to
there,
talk, Jen. You can stay up
or
here
you there
and just mute
after the
yourself.
doctor got there. You need to make up your mind, sir, because at this point it seems like you're lying and your story is not matching because it says 2:13 Quilla was
Ooh.
pronounced dead. So either now on when you arrive at 3 o'clock, you see the commotion and you running and you try to save your friend, but you stated there was no commotion. You was you was trying to get Quilla out the bed. You were saying, "Come on, Quilla, get up." Now that sounds fishy to me, and the times don't match. Math ain't mathing. So let's go on and
That
continue.
casket is so
It says
beautiful.
when Dr. Gutierrez attempted an IV, she was unsuccessful, according to the report expert. It's unclear what medication was in the IV. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, dehydration can cause you to not have much blood flow. So therefore, it'll i.e. cause the doctor or nurse, it'll be hard for them to find a vein. Now,
Mm.
what I am getting from my intellect is that she was drugged because going back and looking at the video, she was slurring her words, and also her being naked in the video looks like she was either accosted out
Wait,
of
wait,
bed,
wait.
as in being pulled out of bed or startled.
Wait. Why she was naked? Oh my gosh. What on God's earth is wrong with people?
Rolled out of bed to fight the defendant, because that's what I'm gonna call her, the defendant, because that's what she gonna be. Um, Dejanay, whatever how you say her name. So with that, Dejanay doing that and her saying she can't fight back when the person on the video saying, "Damn, Quilla, you can't fight back. No, because if you're intoxicated and that'll make you imperable to even defend yourself or and probably even see straight. Okay, if you're intoxicated or or heavily sedated on drugs, heavily sedated on drugs, then you wouldn't be able to really want to lift your arms to fight. You wouldn't be in that type of mood. You will be in a just a wave like mood. So let's go on. The police. Let's go back. Okay, my bad, y'all. So what was interesting, the doctor was there for close to an hour when Robinson began to have a seizure that lasted less than a minute. Report.
Hey, Dee Dee.
Hi, can you hear me?
We hear you good. Let's just finish out the rest of this video, and then you can tell we can talk.
Okay.
I like this girl. I mean, hey Gen X. I don't know how I found her. I mean, I just that's right on Twitter. It's late. I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin soon. We've got a couple more. We got about 4 more minutes, and we're on 1.25.
Okay.
Information indicates paramedics administered at least 14 rounds of CPR, 5 doses of adrenaline, 6 discharges of AED shocks. AED shocks are the electric shocks they do when someone is going into cardiac arrest, which was unsuccessful for them. Unable to revive Robinson, Gutierrez declared her dead at 5:57 p.m., according to the report expert. Police report expert shows a doctor from a local hospital, which is Gutierrez, and Robinson and others in the house she was with others in the house for close to 3 hours before she pronounced her dead. Mexican authorities are investigating Robin's death. This is the interesting part, you guys. They are investigating her death as a femicide. Now, a femicide in Mexico is gender-based murder of a woman or a girl by a man. So what does the Mexican police department know more into her death or her cause of death? Do they know men are involved? Because it's giving that those men are involved. And let's go back to Winter, who is the one who is reported as calling for the help, for the assistance. And she's out of Greensboro. She is identified as one of the 6 people by family and friends. So it is, to my knowledge, that Winter had something to do with the fatal blow to Shanquella, and which caused her to have the effect of not wanting to move, being inebriated, being being nonverbal. So make sure y'all pay attention to that femicide, because if one of those guys is charged with her murder, as in putting his hands on her, a male was involved, and that's sick. All of them are sick, but it's even sicker that as a male you will put your hands on a woman. Okay. They said okay, let me correction. Who called for medical help is unknown, but the reporting person is listed as Winter. Now, Khalil, I got something to say to you. Asking the family for $5,000 to take her to the hospital when Gutierrez, the doctor, said she needs to be transferred to the hospital, and y'all insisting that she work on her in the villa, is because y'all covering shit up. It's because y'all covering up your dirty deeds and trying to just wipe slate clean your backtracking. But let me tell you, you cannot wipe dirt or put a carpet over backtrackings. It will still get discovered. It'll still need to be clean. Y'all need a major cleansing in your city, and your city needs to cleanse y'all demonic asses out. They need to shed a light on y'all, because y'all don't need $5,000 to take anybody to the emergency room if the doctor is recommending that came from the hospital. You should have been paying her to come from the hospital. Make that make sense. It's saying she needs to be transferred to that very hospital she came from. All right, my spiritualists out there, put y'all 2 and 2 together. You already know. And the ones that already know, I'm just here to clarify it for you. You ain't crazy. You trust your gut instinct. These niggas is lying. Point blank, period. And for her father and her mother, I send love and light to them. May peace be over them as they suffer through this tragedy, because more importantly, it's about justice for the family, justice for Shanquella, because this was injustice that happened to her, and it shall be served. Once again, I am your girl, Bruja Honey Ray. I'm the Hood Spiritualist. We coming to you with the real spill. I got the receipts, and I also got the clarity. that you need in them sheets. You feel me? Stay in high vibration. Stay in love. Don't let nobody ruin your day. I'm signing out. Once again, justice for Shanquella. I thank y'all for watching my video. Make sure you like, subscribe. Peace.
Okay, I had to save that real quick. So, Dee Dee. Hey, Brooklyn.
Hey there.
What do you know? What do you want to share with us?
Well, she covered a lot of what I heard. I was going down the rabbit hole this morning and I saw an interview with the mother, and she was saying
Mm-hmm.
that this guy, Khalil, had been Shanquilla's best friend for probably 8 or 9 years. He'd even gone on like family vacations with them. He introduced her to all these other people that they were on the trip with, and they had all gone way back together. So she was kind of a fifth wheel type,
Mm-hmm.
but he included her in everything. So there was another guy that was going to get there the next day. That was the one doing the video. He was going to arrive the next day. They had all gotten there, let's say Friday. He was going to come in Saturday morning. They got there Friday, and I guess it was the next morning that all this stuff went down and the fight and everything. And I saw a video of it. I saw the full video. She was walking through the house, calling all the girls that she was there with, because they were all going to go
Yeah.
swimming. And I think they were all going to go skinny dipping in that pool in the backyard. And she was calling them, "Where are all you guys? You know, it doesn't take that long to take your clothes off. We need to go swimming." And they weren't answering her. So I heard a guy from the FBI say that what he thinks happened is that they were all lying in wait for her in a room. And that explains why when they beat her, or that, when a couple of the girls beat her, she was not dressed because they were getting ready to go to the pool. And the video, her best friend Khalil's sitting there asking her, "Aren't you even going to fight back? Come on, fight back." So
Dee Dee, in this
Mhm.
picture right here on the screen, is this the day that it happened with the...
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes. So he kept cheering her on, sort of, "Aren't you even going to fight back? Come on, fight back." And she said, "No, I can't." And then you see that other girl hit her, and the mother said what she saw in the video was that this girl stomped on her head, which probably broke her neck, and that was the girl Winter.
Oh, I've
So
got the names written down right here. I'm gonna look for them. I've got Kalia, that's it. KALEAH, maybe, probably, and then Winter. But I don't know if this is the video, guys. But I'm going to play it. So
well, the mother also said one more thing. The mother said that, they came over to her house almost every day when they got back, and they all had a different story. And she started getting real suspicious. And then when the autopsy came out and the mother saw it, they stopped coming around. They've all changed their phone numbers, and almost all of them taken their social media down. And they ghosted her.
So where was the transgender person coming in? Like, who is that person?
I hadn't heard anything about that.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna push play. I've never seen this video. I do not know what to expect, but we're about to find out. Oh, I have to change the screen 1 sec. I don't know if that was... Yeah, okay, let me see what this is. Yeah, someone mentioned someone about being transgender. The person that beat her up. Is that Winter?
Yeah, Winter's the one that stomped on her head.
Oh, gosh.
This morning, a potential legal limbo as Mexican prosecutors seek to extradite an acquaintance of Shanquella Robinson, the North Carolina woman found dead while vacationing in Mexico. Authorities are not currently naming her, but say she is a direct aggressor against the 25-year-old after a video online, too violent to show, reveals Robinson assaulted in her hotel room. Mexican authorities issuing an arrest warrant for that acquaintance, now back in America, for the crime of femicide, the act of killing a woman based on her gender.
On the one hand,
wait.
The U.S. government is this seriously, and on the other hand, it's not obligated.
Wait a second. I have never heard of that in my life.
Seriously.
What is that?
The government is going to take seriously. The U.S. government is going to take this
in America for the crime of femicide, the act of killing a woman based on her gender.
So Winter is does that mean that Winter could be trans because of the fact the act of killing a woman based on her gender? Hey, Colleen. What do you think about that, Dee Dee?
I don't know. I when I first heard that word, I'd never heard it before. And when I heard it and I heard the description of it, I didn't take it to mean that. Did you actually hear the word transgender? Did somebody use that?
On the one hand, the U.S. government is going to take this seriously, and on the other hand, to turn her over.
On October 29th, local police reports state that a Baja Resort town guest told medical staff around 2 in the afternoon that Robinson had drunk a lot of alcohol, a doctor determining she was stable but dehydrated, adding Robinson's acquaintances refused to send her to the hospital. The police report stating the Charlotte native went into cardiac arrest, declared dead by 6 p.m. But an autopsy differing from that report, stating medical officials arrived before 3 p.m., quickly declaring Robinson dead from severe spinal cord injury and a dislocated neck. Robinson's family wants answers.
I'm just waiting on that day when someone can be arrested. That's all I'm waiting on.
So as for those contradictions, Dan Abrams says sometimes that can happen when you have different officials looking into the same case, but it can be problematic for prosecutors. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
I mean, to say that they dislocated her neck, like I can't even imagine the anger. And for somebody to do that.
Supposedly when the doctor got there, she said, we need to get her to a hospital. And I think it was that guy Khalil called her mother, Shanquella's mother, and said, they want $5,000 to put her in the hospital. And her mom said, well, that's ridiculous. She's got health insurance.
Oh my God. Okay, guys, I have the fight. I have it. It's on Twitter. I just scrolled past it and I'm going to show it. So, trigger warning. Here's the fight. Because I was scrolling back up. I'm going to listen to the guy's interview that was there. And then I'm going to have to wrap it up and take my old butt to bed. But I'm not going to play the volume. You can see the person with the camera. Wait. What? You know what? I am so triggered right now. Guys, look away. I cannot. How is this I can't even talk. How? I don't want to see her naked. I can't watch that again. But I want to see, who is this with the beard? Are you kidding me? What? Hang on one second. Don't look, guys. I want to see the person with the camera right there. You know what? I am so... Why is that on Twitter? Like, I really didn't want to see it, but then I had to understand, why is there a guy there with a camera?
You have to listen to this guy, Khalil. He is the only guy there. And he's like, aren't you even going to fight back, Willa? So he acted like he knew this was going to happen.
I'm looking for that interview with that guy that was in that area that we just watched. Let me see if I can find it. I do not want to see that again. But there was a guy that was talking. We watched it. And then I couldn't understand him. So we stopped watching it. Was this it?
He just spends the whole time defending himself that he wasn't there.
No, that's what we just watched. Where is it? We just saw it. I mean, don't tell me they took it down. Was this it? I think this is it. Yeah, here it is.
Could have led to her death.
You don't do that. You don't do that. I have the most respect for Miss Robinson, Quilla, everybody. Like, y'all welcome me with open arms. Listen, heard me out. All of that. I didn't feel like anything was a problem. I respect that, and I want you to get justice for your daughter. I want everybody to get justice. I want everybody to stop hurting. Don't nobody deserve that. Especially not to die.
Okay, Gen X.
It's not fair. It's not fair, and I say it every day. I say it every day. I think about it every day. It's not well. I can never forget. Y'all won't let me forget because I think I'm responsible for it. But I just don't understand.
Okay, so he has the beard. He's kind of darker than the hand holding the phone, but is this the guy that's filming it?
He supposedly was not there yet.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning, and let's just go ahead and watch all of this right from here.
For all of them to be in that room, and then, they come in there like, I don't know, woke up or whatever, the way it seemed like they attacked her, man.
I'm going to grab a drink. Be right back.
For a father to see that video, man, because my daughter's not a fighter, man. She's not a fighter, not at all. For them to do what they did, man, it just seemed like it was a plot, because they couldn't have did that over here, man. They couldn't have did that over here, where her friends, all her friends are. It wouldn't have went down like that, man. They don't realize, what they done done, man. They just robbed, it just put a hole in my heart, man. That was my only child. I'm just heartbroken, man.
Oh my gosh.
I can't even be a granddaddy.
My heart just
walking down the aisle, man. Can't even hear a voice. Can't hear say daddy. Mom, can't hear say daddy. Can't even hear say grandma. Y'all just don't know. Y'all just don't know what this has done to me. Just don't know, man. You just don't know. Just don't know. Just don't know.
I'm going to cry.
I thought she'll be burying me. Not me burying her.
What do you hope happens in this situation when it comes to getting justice for your girl?
They get charged for it, man. and they go back over there and do the time, because that's where they did the crime at. And they left her there, ma'am. They left her in that house, ma'am. They left her there for the maids to find her. Don't you know how much of pain my daughter suffered for the injuries, that she took? She was smaller frame, man. For them to sit there and try to get her no help or nothing. I just want justice, man. I'm just angry, hurt, sad, all in one, man. All in one. And I've been dealing with this from day one when I got the.
Hey y'all, welcome back. And this time I'm talking about the
Wow.
case about Shanquella Robinson. I'm sure you have heard. But Shanquella Robinson, she was 25 years
Let's go
old.
ahead and get to the
She
man now.
another video of Winter Donovan slamming Shanquella
Wait.
being beaten in a hotel.
Did you guys hear that? Hang on, let me get my notepad right next to me. I gotta go get my pen. Winter Donovan. How do you like that, DD?
She looks mean too.
We've got the name Winter Donovan, and as we finish this video, I will be running a background check on her.
And her name is spelled Winter, like not winter, like the season. It's Wenter, which is kind of weird too. So,
okay, and the Donovan, is it Donaven or AN?
I think it's Donovan.
OVAN. Okay. Okay. So let's get closer to where this guy comes in. But I do want to hear what she says just before he comes on. So
Well, and they were going to
beautiful
call a
picture.
doctor. And when they had called, the doctor hadn't arrived yet. They said she had alcohol poisoning and couldn't get a pulse. But each person was telling different stories. A video surfaced that appeared to show Shanquella being beaten in a hotel room, allegedly by Dejanay Jackson. Allegedly, it's another video of Winter Donovan slamming Shanquella, and they are saying this could have led to her death.
2,000 miles away from your house, bro. You don't do that. You don't do that. I have the most respect for Ms. Robinson, Quilla, everybody. Like, y'all welcome me with open arms. Listen, heard me out.
Wait a second. Wait. She just said a name that she believes who beat her to death. What was that name?
It's another video of Winter Donovan slamming Shanquella, and they are saying this could have led to her death.
2,000 miles away from your house, bro. You don't do that. You don't do that. I have the most respect for Ms. Robinson, Quilla, everybody. Like, y'all welcome me with open arms. Listen, heard me out. All of that. I didn't feel like anything was a problem. I respect that, and I want you to get justice for your daughter. I want everybody to get justice. I want everybody to start hurting. Don't nobody deserve that. Listen, they died 2,000 miles away from that. It's not fair. It's not fair, and I say it every day. I say it every day. I think about it every day. It's not well. I can never forget. Y'all won't let me forget it because y'all think I'm responsible for it. But I just don't understand why y'all don't have everything. I don't have time stamps. I didn't sign that guest list. First of all, the guest list that my name is on. Go try to find my signature. Hold on, where's my ID? Oh, shit. My ID. Is my signature on here? That's my passport. Anyway, I don't know. That signature not on there. It's somewhere in there. But I didn't sign it. And the only reason why my name was on there is because you had to have your name on the list to get past the gate. If your name wasn't on the list, they would not let you up to your village. So they signed my name, they printed my name, and signed my name, which is not my signature or my print. That's the only reason why I'm on that list. That's the reason why I don't have a phone number there. That's the reason why it's not my fucking shit on there. That's the reason why I'm the last one on there. Like, come on, bro. I gotta make shit make sense. But do your own research. Stop listening to that bozo. Like, come on, bro. Y'all really tripping, bro. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense for me to keep my page public and I did something. It don't make no sense for me to keep trying to live my life and move past this and I did something. Nothing.
Yeah, he's really defensive.
Nothing is killing me. Nothing is hurting me and breaking my heart. goddamn that I had to goddamn go hide because I didn't do anything. I walked into something stupid, and I really wish a flight got canceled, blew up. I don't give a fuck. Don't send me there. I don't know. I can't question God's plan, but he has a way. He has a way, and I'm telling you, I'm putting it all in his hands. I'm not worried about nothing. You, him, or her has got to say. I'll tell you that. I'm going to clear my name one time. If you feel it's clear or it's not, that's on you. Stop commenting on my family shit, mentioning my mom and all that, bro. Y'all are weird. Because the same way I can find my info, I can find y'all. But y'all hiding behind big pages and stuff. Like, come on, bro. Everybody's stuff on the internet. Y'all got to stop. Y'all got to be smart. Everybody got family. Everybody got family. This shit.
Okay, so y'all just watched that. And to me, he does not give me friend vibes, okay? Because first of all, I think that whole situation would have been handled a little bit different. You know, he's saying he wasn't there when they were fighting.
I don't. So who's the guy taking the video?
The only other guy that was there, the only guy that was there at that time was that guy Khalil, her best friend.
So
it
look
had
at
to be
this.
him.
Look at this video. This was, y'all can't tell me they thought they're gonna beat her up and fly home with her. There's no way they flew out for the reason. So she walked through the hotel looking for them. They plotted in a different room on her. It was a setup.
It don't take that long to get naked. It don't take that long to get naked, hoes. Where y'all at?
What the hell?
She told me I'm gonna keep it hot. You gonna keep it hot? What?
I'll keep my hot business and I don't want to work in this piece of fuck.
They what Go said they crew.
Yeah. the one that's like mediocre is in my champion. I can't do them.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, her friend, my daughter's friend did call me who have my number, who know how much I care about my daughter.
Right.
They did call and say it was a fight.
Who's over here?
Hey, Mara, I want to tell you one more thing before I jump.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna end it.
The mother also said, so keep this in mind, that they had Shanquella pay for the place. They hadn't paid her any money back.
Oh my God.
And when they called and said, yeah, it's going to be $5,000 to put her, in the hospital, that's what the hospital wants. The mom said, well, she's got insurance. And then a couple people did a deep dive on it. And, medical care in Mexico is cheap. And it was about $200 to admit somebody to the hospital. So they were trying to shake the mother down for $5,000. And Shanquella is the one who paid for the place.
Damn. I'm gonna run a background check real quick on Winter Donovan.
Sounds like the whole thing is a setup.
Oh, it was definitely. And they set it up in Mexico because they probably thought they wouldn't get caught. But now whoever it is getting extradited is probably going to be having a real shitty time. I think.
Good.
Yep, a real shitty time over there in a Mexico prison. I couldn't even imagine. But let me see if this girl's got a background. So you said it was DINOVAN?
DONOVAN, I think.
Okay. And she's in North Carolina?
I believe so, yes.
All right, let me see. Yeah, after this, I'm going to jump down. Let's just see if she has anything. Her name is Winter Essence, 24 years old. Let's have a look at Winter, guys. Hey, Tom. And then we are going to call it a night.
I'm going to go tuck my dog in. It was good talking to you.
You too, Dee. You're welcomed up anytime.
Okay, you take care.
All right, you too.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for coming up. Well, there's nothing on her. Let's see who her associates are. Kenneth, Pal, Katie. Huh. Yep, nothing on her. 24 years old. Hey, her birthday's coming up, guys. Maybe she will be spending her birthday in a Mexican jail. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming in. Everyone, keep your babies safe and stay vigilant. Thank you all, mods, subs, members. Love you. Good night, guys.